Design Center over on 410 between Broadway and Nacogdoches, or you can call them and they'll come right on out to see you with a free, no-obligation in-home quote from Window World at 210-767-0995. It is Tuesday, July 7th, sun and clouds today in the mid-90s for the highs, 78 now, KTSA.
Good morning. As you head into your early morning commute, they have picked up the road work on 35 northbound Thousand Oaks to Wheaton.
Yeah, Adam Ant. 622, Ware and Rima. What's going on?
Well, first off, before we get out of here, I want to get your thoughts on July 4th and the weekend and everything that went on. I know you did some videos, but I want to talk about get your impressions on the air.
Sure.
Just what you thought about all of it. I do want to mention very quickly, I saw this before I went on at Walmart, and Trump posted about this. Walmart is dropping their prices. Some believe, largely at the behest of the president. 15% on beef, 73% on ground beef. They were over $6. Now they'll be down to under $6. Can of corn, 25 cents, was 68 cents. That's kind of cool. I mean, we talked about affordability is a big deal going into the midterms. Yeah. So Walmart lowering their prices across the board, that's a cool thing.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. Absolutely, I will. And let's see, what else was I going to hit you up here? Just to kind of catch you up to speed on where I am. I first off, we lost the World Cup last night, or we lost to Belgium last night. A lot of people are upset. That's soccer, right? I'm already hearing rumblings that people are blaming Trump.
Of course they are.
That his interference with this stinking phone call somehow affected the game and affected their ability to play. Are they really? They're really blaming him.
Some are.
This was last night. I'm already hearing this crap this morning.
It'll be interesting to see. Like today, Whoopi will probably blame him for that.
Right. No, I agree.
In fact, since you mentioned it, he did sign an executive order at the Resolute desk wearing a Waffle House little hat, those little paper hats from Waffle House. He's signing the executive order here, and this is the deal.
From now on, the Belgian waffle is the American waffle. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
See? It's because he said that. He ruined the game. He screwed up their focus, man. It's Trump's fault they lost.
Right.
I thought he was exceptional over the weekend.
Yes.
I thought all the both speeches he gave. Saturday night, that one I thought was about as perfect a speech as he's ever given. And I said, yesterday we were talking about it, that it was a perfect balance. And maybe having to wait till later on and not having the whole day because he was originally going to be up there for hours. I thought it was a perfect balance of history, with the flags on the stage and all the vets, and poetry. I mean, there was some soaring rhetoric there, and then also he was Trump. He went off script here and there.
Watching the fireworks, I'm sitting there thinking, gosh, just imagine you having to wake up the next day and pretend like you hated that.
I know, and a lot of people did, man.
I know. How could you hate that?
Oh,
all those Democrats,
America.
Chuck Todd and the rest of them had to wake up the next day and pretend that they hated that.
It was incredible. I don't care who you are, And I said yesterday, a friend of ours was on the ground in D.C. watching it, with his own eyes. And I was kind of texting him back and forth. Watching that on TV was pretty spectacular, but it can't come close to what that must have been like for people who were there. Because the scope and the size you really couldn't see very well on TV.
And the sound.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Did you like the playlist? We talked about this yesterday also, that the having the military band was so much better.
Much better than any of those people who pulled out.
Right.
Much better. I was just, those voices are fantastic.
They were amazing.
Which he did. The whole, the all week he had the military singing those great songs with the guy who sang Hallelujah and all that stuff were just fantastic. And then the other night was great.
And it was definitely his choice as far as the songs, because it was all like 70s and 80s classic rock.
That's his
stuff.
thing.
That's his thing.
Yeah.
They did Chicago, man.
25 or 64.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
So I thought it came off very well. I think also, by and large, going back to some of the things we were just talking about, that how people responded to this tells you exactly what you need to know about them. Mamdani at the desk. Backwards, by the way. The desk was backwards. And I think you would agree there was some messaging there.
Of course there was.
What a depressing, dreary little video that was.
Well, remember before we left, I said, number one, took him less than 25 years to conquer New York, and now sitting at the Washington desk said, I'm conquering America. But then Spencer Pratt got him.
Yes, he did.
Sit and watch that vile commie mayor sit on the wrong side of our founding fathers' desk to try and lecture us about our own history. Notice how the communist always attacks your history. The communist must attack your history. Why? Because history is what anchors you. It's what makes us attached to something. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. History breeds an almost irrational attachment to things.
And this guy, I literally, Sean, I can't get enough of him.
I thought that was a brilliant point.
The whole thing was great.
That when you lose, because it's true of us as individuals, when you lose sight of your beginnings, of your roots, of your family, of where you grew up, people can become unmoored and they kind of end up wandering in the forest. And it's true too of our history, our collective history. I thought that was an incredible point.
That's why the commies spent all that time during the Obama's third term tearing down our statues.
Well,
that's our history. You look at the statues, you remember our history. We're going to destroy your history by taking down your. commie Ron Nirenberg did it in San Antonio.
It's
Elaine and I were there when they did it.
It's almost a kind of communal gaslighting. If you can erase you can erase the history of this country. You can rebuild it however you want to rebuild it.
That's it. That's what they're doing.
And people won't have a memory connection to it at some point.
And it's so scary because they control the schools. The commies control the government schools.
Well, and how many young people do we encounter who are being graduated from the public school system who can't tell you even the basics of world history?
Just watch Jesse, and he sends that John guy out with his microphone to the beach.
Right.
Goes, okay, who was the first president?
They don't know.
Obama was the first president, right?
They have no idea. They have no idea. You can mold somebody into anything you want them to be.
And they're
if
doing
they don't have an anchor in history.
They're doing it in the government schools.
Yep, they sure are.
All right, let me tell you about my friends over at BG Products. BG in your vehicle, the maximum protection for your vehicle, keeping you on the road in a solid way. That's what BG Products always does, I can't guarantee you're never going to have a problem with your car if you use BG. I would never do that because that's just simply not true. But if you want maximum protection for your engine and for every other system in your car that you can use BG, it is the way to go. I've been using it now for over 30 years, and it's served me extremely well. And I can tell you, once you begin using it, and you start to see the difference in your mileage, too, through, number one, the 44K, which is their fuel system cleaner, but also the MOA. Less friction in the engine means it takes less gasoline to operate that engine, and you're saving money every time you pull up to the pump. Love this stuff. It's proven by science, but beyond science, it's proven by people like you and me out there every day driving around with BG in our vehicles. So the next time you have your oil change, just ask the guy to do the BG service and watch the difference maker that it truly is in your vehicle. BG, findashop.com.
Guests of Ware and Rima appear via the Stevens Roofing Newsmaker Hotline.
Quarter moon is here. It's so hot outside. We're talking mid-90s today and higher than that the next few days. No rain until the weekend gets here, so it's going to be hot outside. And to protect your AC system, Quarter Moon will come out and they'll clean the entire thing from top to bottom and side to side. They clean out all the lines. They blow out the compressor housing. They check the compressor to make sure it's working well. They check the capacitor, all the electronics inside the unit itself. And then they check the refrigerant. They go through this entire multi-point check to make sure that when it's hot outside, you're nice and cool inside. And if you ever have a problem, a failure, a breakdown, or anything like that, Quarter Moon has rapid response where they can get to you in a hurry and fix you up and get you cool again. Same thing is true with their plumbing, too. We never plan on a plumbing problem, but when it happens, you want somebody who can get there right away. Over 43 years of experience at Quarter Moon now. And like I've been saying, just call Quarter Moon. Quarter Moon, Heat, AC, and Plumbing at 210-651-5899.
Well, if you're like most
6:35 at KTSA, that nasty, terrible Elon Musk organization known as SpaceX.
Right.
The president is Gwen Shotwell.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Gwen. How you doing?
Hi, Gwen.
Anyway, she just gave $320 million of her dollars to the Trump accounts it'll cover 2 million of the 6 million children. The Democrats are now saying to parents, do not sign your children up for the Trump accounts. Benny Thompson, the guy who headed up the J6 Commission, and others are now saying to parents, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Do not sign your children up for these accounts. Well, you know what? It's the smartest thing you could possibly do is to make sure that these kiddos get that $1,000, and then, if possible, if you can afford it, and if you can, let me get it out of Dave Ramsey on you.
Beans and rice,
yeah,
rice and
right.
beans.
Let me get some Dave Ramsey on you. If you can make the sacrifice to contribute the maximum $5,000 a year to your kiddo's account, okay, which is what you can do.
Right.
And some employers, let me get Dave Ramsey on you. You employers, to give that amount of money. Those kids stand a very good chance of being millionaires, if not multimillionaires, when they are adults. That's what this Trump account is going to do for these kids. And he's also looking at an Australian type of retirement account for us, which means employers would be required to put 12% of your salary per year in a high-yield account, right, which would be invested by the government in a particular way. Well, those fiduciaries chosen by the government, particular way, to watch your money grow, which I am all for. The Social Security system is a Ponzi scheme that's falling in on itself as we speak. Democrats and Republicans alike have never wanted to address the Social Security issue in this country because you talk about getting killed at the polls in the next election, it'd be all over with if you decided to do something about it. But it's a system that's not sustainable when you look at the numbers of people in the population behind us, which is what it's going to take to keep the thing going. So anything that you can do on your own and that the government can do to get you out of that system. But I did a video, Sean, and I was thinking about this, and I made a few points here. Because you hear Democrats all the time talk about how much they hate Donald Trump. I hate him, we hate him, we hate him. Yeah. But they never get specific about what he has done or is doing that they hate. They just hate him. And so my question to Democrats is it the $1,000 to every kid just for being born that's going to make them a multimillionaire that they hate?
Well, the only reason they'd be telling people not to do it is because they want kids being beholden to the government. They want the handouts. They want to get them into the system. They don't want them being independently wealthy or autonomous or any of that stuff.
Of course, and that's what they are all commies. So the commies don't want you to stand on your own. Is it the thousands of drugs that are less expensive for everybody now because of Trump RX?
Well, I've noticed that myself.
There you go.
Mine are cheaper.
All right, Democrats, is it the higher wages that everybody's making now, or the smaller government and the less regulations? Is it the job numbers that are going up? Is it the fact that manufacturing is coming back here? In fact, Toyota announced that they're going to bring their Tacoma manufacturing plant from Mexico to San Antonio.
I saw
$4 billion coming to the San Antonio economy and over 2,000 jobs. Is that what you Democrats hate him for?
Yes.
Well, I'm getting there.
That's absolutely right.
Is it the less crime that we're seeing break out across this country, particularly in the cities where he has moved the National Guard in, like Memphis and D.C., or the beautification of places like D.C.? Is it, those of us who have 401k accounts? Yesterday, the Dow, for the first time in the history of the stock market, went over 53,000. So if you have a 401k or an IRA that's invested in the market, you're doing extremely well. Here's what I believe Democrats really hate him for. All of that stuff that I just listed is a reason that all Americans, not Democrats or Republicans, all Americans can love the guy. But they hate him because he's making America a much better place for all of us. And that's something Democrats can't have. They spent way too much time and energy and effort destroying this place because they hate it so much. This guy's fixing it, and they can't stand he's fixing it.
And you have to peel back the layers on why they hate it. They hate it because they want to remake it into something other than what it is. Okay, that's really what's at the heart of it. It's not just blind hate, I just hate America just to hate America. They hate it because they want to replace it with something. And everything he does to elevate this country and elevate Americans, okay, just, goes against that plan. right? If we have a strong economy, if people are autonomous in their finances, in their health care, and their meds and everything that he's doing. Not to mention, he makes them look horrible as public servants because he runs circles around them as far as actually getting stuff done. These are people largely who like to sit on their keisters, rake in the money and not actually do anything. But I think ultimately the reason they hate his guts so much is because he's the monkey wrench in the works, man. You can't pull off the great revolution with this guy in your way.
Here's something else that he's doing, right? You're right on all what you just said. Here's something else that he's doing.
The President of the United States get essentially $2.5 million for 4 years, right? Wait a minute. It's spread out over a period of 4 years. It's about $2.5 million. I waived my salary. Now, I figured because we've had other wealthy presidents. We've had Kennedy, and we've had FDR was very wealthy. Teddy Roosevelt was wealthy. And one of the wealthiest, believe it or not, was George Washington, who wasn't in the White House, but there are pictures of him surveying this ground. He's the one that sort of picked the location. I think he made a good choice. He picked it.
So do you Democrats hate him because he's donating his salary back? No. They spent so long. You're absolutely right. They want to rebuild this into a communist nation. That's totally understandable, and they're working on that right now. But they have spent their effort and their attention and their hard work and their sweat equity. Democrats have spent it on destroying this country because they hate it for all those reasons you just enumerated. And he's coming along and he's fixing everything that they have spent their life work destroying because they hate this. They literally spent the last 5 days, whether it was Sonny Hostin saying, every time I see an American flag, by the way, there's no such thing as an American flag. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as an American flag. It's a flag of the United States of America. Anyway, I see an American flag and I just cannot stand it.
She feels
I just want to
unsafe.
puke. Yeah. And that's why they have spent so much of their time and effort to destroy this country, because they hate it. And he's coming along and he's giving kids $1,000. He's raising the wages. He's bringing manufacturing back.
Their whole agenda, which is crap, is based on the idea that we're flawed, that we're oppressive, right? That we run people over, that there's nothing good about us at all. We're just the villain in the room. And he's coming up behind them in a sense, and sometimes in front of them, and he's making this country stronger, more financially independent.
For everybody.
For everybody.
Not just Republicans.
And you can't continue to make the argument that he is the master of division when he's really, you're right, doing stuff that's good for everybody no matter who you are. It completely destroys that narrative. And look, we used to call it bulltude. You know, when you call somebody on their bull crap and they give you an attitude, that's who they are en masse.
Right.
He's basically showing them up and showing, their mistakes and their choices for being disastrous.
Choices.
And they hate him for it.
Choices. Not
Yeah,
mistakes. Because
choices.
they made willful choices to destroy this country from within. That's what they have been doing for the last 65 years, destroying this country from within. And he comes along and says, we're not going to destroy this country. We're going to make it wonderful and great. So, you know what? We're going to bring manufacturing back here. And, we're making drugs and we're making chips. The most important thing for the future of mankind is the chip. We're making chips in America today. Now Toyota is going to be making all the Tacomas right here in San Antonio. So we're going to be making all kinds of money. In fact, Toyota, let me give you another stat on Toyota since we're in San Antonio. In the next 5 years alone, Toyota is going to invest $10 billion in manufacturing in the United States. Biden never, ever made that kind of an announcement about anybody opening up a new manufacturing plant here. In China, all around the world, but not here.
I don't remember George Walker Bush making any kind of announcements. We were bailing people out left and right during his administration.
Absolutely.
Look, they like things status quo at best, okay? They don't want things fixed, and they want to make things worse, and Donald Trump is actually their worst nightmare to those ends. He is in the way, man.
So I had it wrong. I kept saying during the Spencer Pratt when he was running, that Spencer's like Trump. He's the fireman. Remember all this? I say he's the fireman. He puts the fire out. He doesn't ask if you're a Republican or Democrat. Your house is on fire. Let me just but I had it wrong. I didn't take that far enough. Not only does he put the fire out at your house, then he brings in all the guys to rebuild it.
He rebuilt your house nicer.
He put the fire out, and now he's got all these guys in here, and they're going, okay, I want some marble over here. I want some gold paint over there. He's rebuilding this house of the United States into something all of us can enjoy. Everybody.
He represents the very exceptionalism that he describes on a regular basis that this country is supposed to embody, and people who are his enemies, who are themselves talentless, mediocre people, they hate his guts for it.
So let's go back to the original question. What do you Democrats hate him for? What's he doing that you hate? What is he doing? I mean,
winning.
Winning. That's why they hate his guts.
And that's what I put in the video, is that, and please watch it, is that they do not like the fact that he's fixing this country and making a great place for all of us because they have spent so much time and effort and resources in destroying it. He's bringing it back.
They even react to the patriotism, like it's holy water on a vampire. You know, if you're trying to present the idea that we suck and we're awful and we're a disaster, okay, you can't have people loving this country. It drives them crazy.
Lulu Garcia Navarro from the New York Times and PBS accepting our tax money. 250 was nerve-wracking. You had jets overhead. It feels like the apocalypse. No, honey, that's the sound of freedom. Or Robin Givhan with the New York Times saying that Trump ruined the 4th. I'm barely able to tolerate the red, white, and blue now with all of his nationalist cheerleading. My heart literally aches. Or Chuck Todd.
Oh, lighten up, Francis.
Chuck Todd. Trump selfishly is stealing the whole anniversary of the July 4th. He cheapened the country, and I'm so pissed off.
Oh, get a grip on yourself,
Seriously.
man. I saw the video. How pathetic, man. What a pathetic display that guy put on. You're a grown-ass adult, man.
All of them. All of them. That's the way they felt about it. Your friends over at Here in Texas are ready to help you hear better, and that's how you can enjoy your life even more. It's a quality of life issue. It's great to see Dr. Sally and Carlos and Hero and Audio and all of them here last Thursday. It's always great when I get a chance to go up there and visit with them in New Braunfels, but they also have Dripping Springs. And by the way, they're not only looking for patients at Dripping Springs, but if you want to work in the business, reach out to our friends at Here in Texas. They're an equal opportunity employer. They do so much to help people with hearing loss, like Sean, like myself. Mine has been something that's gone on my entire life. And it's really been a great thing for me to have these hearing aids from Here in Texas. I just talked to Dr. Sally the other day when she was here. I'm going to get me a new pair because my hearing has obviously changed, and so it's time to update what I have. And, that's what they'll do for you. They've got a subscription service that you can buy into the subscription service, and anytime new technology comes along, boom, you got yourself some new hearing aids. Listen, it starts with an eval, okay? Going in and one of their audiologists sitting down with you and checking your hearing and finding out what's going on and putting you in a better position to enjoy your life at Here in Texas, HEAR, HereInTX.com. Sun and clouds today, mid-90s for the high, 78 now, KTSA. Had been some sort of sign that Plattner was a bad person.
Oh, God. Right. Except for everything. Just one funny thing, and then I want to talk about something serious. We mentioned the World Cup, and I can honestly say I tried to watch an earlier game yesterday afternoon with my son. He loves it. He watches this stuff all day, and I just can't get into it. I just can't get in. It just looks like a big human pinball machine to me. Do you know what I mean? It's just a bunch of dudes and a ball's getting kicked around. I just can't get into it. And I know baseball is boring as hell to folks. We were just talking off the air. We went to a missions game on Friday, and we're going to go again on this coming Friday. And I am fascinated by baseball because the hand-eye coordination required to play that game, to me, is just fascinating.
So
soccer, bunch of dudes just kicking a ball.
What? No, it's not. Here's what you find out. That's okay.
No, for James.
But here's what you find out about any sport, Sean.
Right.
You have to understand what's going on in order to enjoy it. If you don't understand it, if you don't know what's going on, the strategy,
get the ball
rules,
in the net thing.
No, you don't.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Make it sexy.
Yeah, no, it's like any. You can. You know what, Elaine? Golf on television seems to be the most boring thing on the planet.
Yeah.
Not if you know what's going on and all the strategy that is playing out.
If you know how to tweak the show and make it sexy.
Well, golf is pretty sexy now. Have you seen those guys who are wearing those tight pants and all that stuff? And they're making it move faster on TV by cutting from one hole to the next real quick and all those stuff. But the bottom line is, for any sport, and I don't get that much into soccer myself. I think this goes on way too long, just my personal opinion. But any sport, to really enjoy it, you have to understand what's happening, the rules and what the players are doing and what the coaches are trying to do and all that stuff. Otherwise, it is kind of boring.
I don't know. It's a bunch of guys in knee socks kicking the ball around. I understand what they're trying to do. I understand the basics of the game, but
skinny little foreigners.
And I know, but again, I'm also a fan of baseball, which a lot of people find boring as hell, and I totally understand why.
But it's not if you know what's going on.
To me. Well,
if you know what's happening,
who's
going to
hit that little ball with that skinny ass stick and knock it into a certain part of the field and run his crap around the bases?
But it's so much more. They talk about auto racing as an example. It's just cars going around in a circle.
One big left turn.
Transportation. No, there's a lot of engineering and stuff.
The uniforms are nice in NASCAR, too.
Oh, my God.
It's sexy.
All right, Christian and Jimmy have been very patient. So
yeah, waiting for you commoners to get done with your simpleton approach of the world's most popular sport.
I thought I did a good job.
I'm in a bitter mood because we lost. Okay, I'm wearing black because I'm in mourning.
He's wearing black.
And you know what? I just want everyone here listening who complain about soccer. We don't need your American viewership or your American dollars. The sport is fine.
That's fine.
So
That's
just
true.
don't watch and go be grumpy. And I'm going to celebrate with the rest of the world and all the people that are visiting and having a good time.
Goodness
there you go.
gracious.
And it doesn't sound like I'm having a good time, but I'm having a good time.
It sounds like you're
easy
having
now.
a really good time.
I'm very upset, Elaine.
Hey, listen.
Go take a Midol and call me in the morning.
Our defibrillator's not working. It went down with the air conditioning, so just calm down a minute. Go ahead, Kristen, quickly.
Let me put a different spin on this because James is running everybody off.
Get it.
If Elaine wants sexy, she needs to go take a look, and I'm going to try to think like Elaine here.
Okay.
Take a look at Cristiano Ronaldo without a shirt, and you tell me what's sexy.
No, my God.
I like number 4 chickens. He's a little too dark.
Number 4 chickens?
I like the white.
What is that?
The number 4 chicken used to be the all-white meat at Bill
Oh,
Miller's.
God.
Okay, then Lionel Messi. I mean, my only point is they're pretty, or the big Norwegian guy. What's it, Erling Haaland?
So the other day when Trump got the guy bailed out, I got a video on my X account. Here's the referee giving him the red card, and he's holding up a picture of Donald Trump.
You get a red card. Nah, bro, I have the Trump card.
I do have to give Balogun some major props because he went up and personally talked to the Belgian coach after the match, and the Belgian coach was very vocal about him playing.
Uh-huh.
And he just went up and shook his hand, and the Belgian coach was like, "It wasn't your fault. I'm not mad at you. You're a quality player." And it showed the character of the individual. So, Balogun, well done.
And Jimmy is representative of a lot of people this morning. I've been reading it all night long, how upset people are. A lot of people are not going to work today. They're so upset.
Taking a day
I'm
for
not
a wellness,
kidding.
taking a wellness
I'm not
day.
joking.
That's because we're patriotic, and you communists can just celebrate the USA losing.
I wanted them to lose so Donald Trump wouldn't exploit it.
Did you bring any nitroglycerin with you? We may need that to put under Jimmy's tongue.
You want a Unestra?
Sean, I'm going to make Sean give you mouth to mouth.
Yeah.
Oh God, no, that's
y'all just go ahead and celebrate with Mom Donnie and all those other socialists.
He wanted America to lose.
He needs a Valium. More Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA.
Hey, it's Sean. You know, I love talking about my friends at John Wayne Service Company. This is a great year to talk to them. Whether you're having an issue with your HVAC, your plumbing, or your electrical, it's one.
I mean, people love their conspiracy theories, and I think it's particularly egregious with her, though, with Candace Owens, because she was somebody that knew him. She was somebody that was, a part of that at some point, and it's crummy behavior. I mean, I picked up on a lot of stuff she said over the past few months, and it's just some of it's sickening. The other part of it that I really took away from the coverage is Mr. Tyler Robinson. Now, apparently he was laughing or yucking it up with his lawyer before the proceedings started, but by and large, he just kind of sat there. And he has that look. And it's a look that you saw on Luigi Mangione's face. I hate to say it. It's, we're also looking at, South Carolina, where they had like 5,000 teenagers take over a couple of neighborhoods.
10,000.
Shoot 10,000.
10,000.
Well, there were individual crowds of like 5,000.
But 10,000 total.
And, I think there's two groups of young people right now. There are the people who are gravitating back to church and traditional values, and the people that were lit up by a guy like Charlie Kirk. And then there's the other kind who are the Tyler Robinson kind. And they all have the same look. And you encounter people like this when you're out and about. Like if I'm at a store, a big retail place or whatever, and you sometimes will encounter a young person who has that exact same look he has. And it's this vacant, nothing looking back at you look. I mean, there's a certain section of that generation that's like they're just born sociopaths. There's just nothing look, and he's got that same vacant look in his eye.
They're not born, they are created.
Yeah,
they
I
are
agree.
created in the system that has existed in this country through not only the government schools, but through the media, through movies, through music, and everything else has created these people to be checked out, and they have no regard for other human life. The Democrat death cult is where all this is emanated. Life is not important. There's no creator. There's nobody that they have to, as C.S. Lewis says in Mere Christianity, that you are accountable to. And if there's nobody that you're accountable to, you can just wipe out another life, and you don't care.
And they don't seem to have any connection to anything, let alone themselves, And it's just that same look, that same vacant stare.
That's right.
That guy has, and a lot of them have, where even if it's somebody you run into in a store and you ask them a question, they have that same look looking back at you, like, why are you even bothering to ask me? It's a deadness.
It's like these young people that go in and they shoot up a school. Same thing. Yeah. They got that dead look in their face, like there's nothing there's no soul in that body. It's just a body.
It's disturbing.
It's horrible. And so, and he's got that look. You're right about Mangione. He definitely has had that look, and he's enjoying the fame. This guy's enjoying the fame. And once again, tied to the transgender movement in America. That's where you need to start investigating stuff, Kash Patel, and finding out why the transgender movement in America is one of the most violent movements that we have ever seen in this country. And that's clear.
I agree.
That is clear.
You're
no arguing that.
Manufacturing mindless, violent thugs, moronic thugs to do your bidding in a sense, and they're more than willing to do it. And the thing is, you can lock a guy like that up for life. You can even execute him. He don't care. It ain't going to make not one bit of difference.
That's right, and that's fine because, as I say with the bricks and bars, it's not about whether he cares. It's about the rest of us who want to live in peace and safety in an ordered society. They don't get to live with us.
No, I agree.
He allegedly, and the court will figure this out, but he allegedly made a choice. That choice was to kill another human being. That means you can't live with the rest of us anymore. You have to go live somewhere else, or you need to be, I believe he needs to be executed. So.
And Erica Kirk brought this up when she now famously forgave him in the weeks after, that she also, I think she said something to the effect that, these are also young people who are being indoctrinated into this stuff, and their lives are over too.
It's all over with.
That's a young guy.
See ya.
Just like Luigi Mangione, just like, the kid that shot up the synagogue. These are young people with their whole lives ahead of them.
That's right.
And they all that potentiality for nothing, tossed away so that they could do an act of violence and get some internet fame for a few minutes.
And it happens every single day. In fact, I've got the information here out of Chicago. We had more shootings, 21 more shootings this weekend in Chicago, 3 deaths. We even had stabbings. In gun control, by the way, gun control Chicago, where an actual black genocide at the hands of other blacks is going on. Now, I want to lighten the load.
Sure, yeah.
Elaine, I'm afraid to ask Jimmy. He's in a bad mood this morning. And Christian, I discovered something about myself this weekend that I wanted to share with you.
What is this?
And all of you that I didn't know was still there. I have always loved grilling I always enjoyed cooking outside. From the time Nancy and I got married, actually before we got married, but from the time we got married, man, I used to cook outside all the time. I never cooked inside, Sean. I hated cooking inside. Cooking ought to be outside. And so, over the past several years, I just got away from it because, well, it's just easier to cook inside, And outside, you got to prep it. You got to get the fire going. You got to get it to the right temperature and all that kind of stuff. Need to make sure the grill is all cleaned up, before you put any meat on that grill. And then you got to stand out in the heat while you're working on it. And then after it's over with, you got to clean it up again. I rediscovered my love for grilling over the weekend.
Did you now?
I did dogs. I did these little prime rib burgers that you get at Sam's. They're about that big. They're about that big around, and they are so good. So I did those. I did a steak yesterday with the potatoes and all the fixings on the grill. I used to make breakfast tacos on the grill outside. That's how much, in the cold weather. That's how much I love grilling. So I'm back. I'm back in the grilling mode. So if anybody has anything that I need to try, I'm gonna make my wife. She loves quarter chicken.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to make her.
Fish?
Huh?
Fish.
Grill some fish.
She does love pescado. That's true. Cooked on the grill, so I can do that. But Jimmy, you're the foodie, man. What do you think?
Yeah,
see, he's such a bad mood. He can't even talk.
I got ruined recently.
What happened?
I bought a Wagyu ribeye steak. And now I can't eat regular steak anymore.
Well, that's true.
Wow.
It's so damn good, but it's so damn expensive.
Yep.
But yeah, no. So I'm sort of like, I want to grill, but once you eat the Wagyu, then the rest is like.
Do you know I will never do another hot dog or steak in the house again?
Again?
Ever. I'm telling you, Sean.
Wow.
A grilled hot dog and a steak on the grill with all my – I did it over mesquite wood yesterday.
Well, you do have a Neanderthal look to you.
let me tell you an added benefit. An added benefit. My wife loves that manly smell when you smell like
mesquite.
She loves. So I walk in and she looks at me out of the corner of her eye. She's like looking me up and down.
Let me address the masculine aspect of this for a second, because I'm a constant disappointment to the women in the Mexican chicks in my life, from my mother-in-law to my wife, because I'm not into grilling.
Senor Crockpot.
And a man should grill, and I just don't care.
Sean, you have toxic masculinity.
I don't care. I appreciate anybody who wants to do it. It's an art form. Our boss, Greg, is into. He does a lot of
You're a
smoking.
crockpot man.
No, I just don't give a crap about cooking in general. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Well, what about your sausage?
My wife, I say to my wife, like, you married a poet. What did you?
But it doesn't make you a man. It doesn't make you a man to cook outside.
Some Mexican chicks it does.
No, it doesn't. All I'm saying is I enjoy. No. If you want to make a Mexican woman happy, go bury the head in the backyard and let it cook for a couple of days and bring it in and pit it off.
It's inspiring to see nothing but white men talking about how to make a Mexican woman happy.
Yeah, they're like.
I've learned a few things.
They're like liberal Democrat women, Elaine. They're like liberal Democrat women.
Yeah,
they're
that's
telling
right.
There you go. I'm just saying that I just have never had. I just can't get it. I've tried to get into it, and I just don't.
Man, I love it.
Hot dogs. I do have a little fancy grill. I do the hot dogs on, but that's a countertop grill.
No, this is outside.
See,
man.
To me, camping is sleeping on the couch.
I understand.
I'm a great endorsement.
This is outside under my big oak tree where, I'm
next
in
to your swimming pool and the little cascading waterfall. And
yes.
My God, that's a struggle.
The heated swimming pool.
That's a struggle.
In his jorts.
Yes, that's right.
Jorts.
Yeah, the jean shorts.
No,
oh, God.
No, I had my Dickies on, and I was standing there with my Dickies on, and I was just turning them dogs, man, and they came out perfect. I took one to my Mexican mother-in-law.
Did you?
With some tater salad on the side.
And she did the dipping?
Huh?
Did she do the dipping?
She did. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up, because we ran into Tommy and Debbie Rao at HEB. And Tommy was a cop for 100 years in San Antonio, and he used to come in here and protect me at night. And so ran into them at HEB that morning, and Debbie said, "Have you tried the jalapeno mustard over here?" And I said, "No, but I'm going to go over there. Since you mentioned it, I was going to make my own. I was going to make my own jalapeno mustard."
Yeah.
And so next thing I know, she walks up with a little bottle. She goes, "There, it's bought and paid for. Go home and try it." And that's the best stuff, man. Stuff.
Someone, before we break, I know we're late.
That's okay.
Someone brought some kind of chow chow relish. Halen Everybody fell in love with
Wow.
it.
Chow Chow Relish.
Chow Chow Relish.
It was in a little jar. It wasn't marked, but whoever that was.
Yeah.
It had some jalapenos.
Well,
Call
anyway,
me.
the reason I brought it up is I just want, if anybody knows some ideas that I should grill, just, Trey at TreyWare.com. You can send them to me or whatever. I don't
Right.
care. Just send me
Roasted
some ideas.
corn.
I'm trying new stuff.
Roasted corn.
Roasted corn.
Oh, yeah. I love
some
I do
Mexican
corn.
straight
baby.
corn.
I do corn.
But you won't. I love grilled octopus, but you won't do that.
Oh, God, I hate that
Right?
stuff. I hate
Yeah,
octopus.
okay.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's awful.
My dickies tend to hang a little low these days. I have a trouble
It is.
keeping the dickies up,
It is a trouble. It is
I
a
have
struggle.
I have no backside, so my dickies are always riding
No,
low.
I hear you. I hear you. All right, let me tell you about my friends at Evolve Med Group, evolvemedgroup.com, evolvemedgroup.com. At evolvemedgroup.com, they do it all. They're now accepting insurance for IV therapy for all sorts of things. IV therapy is awesome. In fact, I was talking to a friend this weekend about it. He likes to go in and he gets the vitamin pack done, and he really feels like $1 million after getting that done. They do chronic fatigue and other medical issues. If you need IV done, then our friends at Evolve could do it for you, and they accept insurance for that. PRP and stem cells and hormone replacement and weight loss with and without the GLP-1 medications, and on the list goes. And they even do primary care at Evolve Med Group. I've been telling you that for a long time because of my active life as a youngin', it was very difficult for me to get around. Not anymore. I feel so much better since I've been going to Evolve Medical Group. And when you feel better, when you're not in so much pain, you actually feel better. Your emotions are better, too. So if you have pain and limited movement, reach out to our friends at evolvemedgroup.com. That's evolvemedgroup.com. Sun and clouds, mid-90s today, 78 now, KTSA.
FM 107.1.
722 with Ware and Rima. What's going on?
Well, we just talked about eating, so I'm going to hold off on the key lime pie contest and Joey Chestnut till a little later on. We'll come back around to that. But some pop culture stuff. You had mentioned The View and, a lot of stuff about July 4th, in the wake of July 4th and the 250. But I saw the story. Mamdani is a creepy dude. And that video was creepy. And I'm watching that video going, that little word I can't say on the radio wants to rule the world, man.
Go ahead and say it.
It begins with a P and ends with a K, and there's an R in there. That's all I'm going to say. That guy, I mean, he's like, I said this yesterday, he's like Obama. He was raised to be this. Okay, what he is part of. I don't think he's an intellectual heavyweight himself personally, but he's been raised for this moment. He really certainly has. And I'm looking at this story. It's, again, a View story where after the primaries in New York, when these three candidates, socialists, Democrats, socialists, did very well, you had one of the hosts on The View, Alyssa Farah Griffin, she said of Chevalier that she's a full-blown anti-Semitic, Jew hater. And
she is.
She is, absolutely. They all are. He is. And apparently they got a call from this is alleged, got a call from some Mamdani folks.
They did.
Who were like, hey, you better stop that or my man's never going to come on your show. Any major candidates aren't going to come on your show. And in reading the story, you see where also ABC is still trying to float the idea that this is a serious news program, which, of course, it absolutely is not. Mm-hmm. And so they're not beholden to the FCC in that way. Mm-hmm. But, it's a bunch of bullcrap, which we know. But just the idea that this guy would reach out a tentacle and try to control the message on a show like The View, which is normally kissing his ass on a daily basis, tells you all you need to know about the New World Order if it really comes here to America.
They're total fascists. That's what they are.
Absolutely they are.
And we will tell you what you can and cannot say on your media. Joe Biden and Barack Obama during the third term, they actually did that. Remember,
yes, they did.
Remember, they went to Facebook and said that whole Hunter Biden story is just a crock of lies. It's not true. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
And it turned out to be 1,000,000% true.
It's why they hate Elon so much, because he bought Twitter. It's one of the main reasons they hate his guts, that and the support for Trump. So, if you really want, and I had mentioned that, I don't know, you and I hadn't talked about the story of this movie, Citizen Vigilante, which Elon actually ran for 48 hours for free. It's by a independent German guy that through a friend I'm actually getting to know more about. And the German government banned the movie because it was very critical of open border policies, the crime that comes along with it, media cover-up, judges who let people, walk after committing violent crimes. And not only Germany, but I think about half a dozen countries banned the movie. Elon puts it up for free for 2 days, and it becomes the #1 movie. It's the #1 movie on Amazon Prime right now. And everybody who's seen it says it's not even a very good movie. But the idea that some government entity is going to tell you what you can and can't watch, this is what these people are all about. I've never understood, again, creative people especially, who are all about this kind of government and telling people what they can and can't watch.
Well, creative people do it all the time. If you look at China does this all the time.
Sure.
And Disney of all people, of all companies, you would think that they would stand for the freedom of content. You're not going to tell us what to put in our movies. If you want to play it in China, they have told Disney, and they're not the only ones, many of the others have gone back and changed it.
Yeah.
Here's what happens. The Reagan thing. Okay, they're now the people who produced the Reagan movie, are now coming out and saying that Bank of America debanked them because they did not want the movie Reagan to be made.
Right.
So they debanked the producers and everybody who was trying to put the money together to make that movie. Debanked them.
Well, again, it's creepy. It's fascism, communism. Okay, if that's really what you want. The problem is with a lot of young people when it comes to this communist threat inside this country, whether you're talking about this sort of thing or whatever it may be, the young people especially are not going to realize what they've lost until they've lost it, and then it'll be too freaking late.
That's the case in every single country that falls into communism. The people are all for it, and the next thing you know, whoa, what did I say yes to? And that's what's happening. We are watching it happen from the inside out. Not only in Colorado, but now they got several candidates running in Tennessee of all places. Tennessee.
Yeah, no, I think this generation especially, though, is very unprepared.
Watch out. Watch out,
what's
guys.
coming, man.
I got to tell you about my friends over at Nightly Insurance Group. If you are looking at your Medicare choices, trying to decide what you're going to do for Medicare, Our friends at Knightley Insurance Group are here for you. Nick Knightley and his team of actual professionals, not machines, not robots answering the phone, but people right here in the Texas Hill Country and surrounding area, can answer all of your questions about Medicare and can really give you some great guidance absolutely free. They do not charge for this. They are an independent broker. And so they're able to help you make those choices that are best for you when it comes to Medicare. And if you've already made those choices, if you've already signed up and you're already going with Medicare, don't worry about it. If you've got a question, you just reach out to them at Knightley Insurance Group, Knightley with a K, and they'll answer your questions even if you already are enrolled and you have a doctor change or prescription change or this, that, or the other, and you got questions. They'll answer your questions for you at Knightley Insurance Group. I know in a few years when I'm going to be making the Medicare choices, and it's 3 or 4 years from now, maybe, something like that, I'm going to be reaching out to Knightley Insurance Group. I'll be reaching out to find out exactly if they can give me the help that I'll be looking for as well. Knightley with a K, KnightleyInsuranceGroup.com.
News Talk
Well, you know what that means.
Yes.
Dancing with myself, 7:35 at KTSA.
My mom always said that make you go blind.
Well, that's what I meant by that's what it means. That's what it means. Right. So this didn't age well.
Republicans at this point can ask us to take the moral high ground.
There you go.
That is over at this point.
That's right.
That is over.
It's a choice.
I am sorry. Democrats have always fallen in love, and Republicans have always fallen in line. It's time for Democrats to stop that nonsense, put emotions on the side. Let's be strategic. Let's get some power.
Yes.
Let's take over the Senate. Let's take over the House, and let's right the ship. Let's get our country back. I am sorry. I am someone that believes in character. I am someone that believes that morals matter. But because of the state of this country, if I lived in Maine, I would hold my nose and I would vote for Plattner.
Okay, that didn't age well, so it'll be interesting to see what she says today. And we're still waiting to hear from the old fart.
I'm going to do everything I can to make sure
Barney.
that Graham Plattner is the next senator from the state of Maine.
Yeah, everything that I
to
can.
make sure that Graham Plattner is the next senator.
Yes, I heard you the first time. And then, of course, Chuck Schumer was asked a question. This was all just a few weeks ago that we were hearing all this about Plattner.
I met with Graham Plattner today. We're going to beat Susan Collins and take back the Senate.
Okay. So Ro Khanna was his number one endorser, and Ro backed away yesterday. Look, they knew everything about this guy, and they were just trying to drag him into the office the best they could. In Sonny Hostin's case, Sonny, you better be holding something else, not your nose, if you're going to be around him, okay? That's becoming more clear. Holding your nose is not going to be your protection. You better hold some other body parts if you want to be protected around this guy.
Right, and don't give me this crap about how you care about character. Oh, come on, man. So, you guys are fine with this guy, man.
It'll be interesting to see. And they all knew it. We talked about it. This woman... This Ricocco or Ricoque or Ricocott or whatever.
Looks like Ricocco.
Yeah, whatever. She came forward months ago before the primary happened, and they went past her. They covered it up. She told them the story back then. This is not new. This is not some revelation. What they're doing now is the Democrats know they got a bag of crap that they cannot sell because he's not making money for them, and that's all that matters.
Well, his numbers are dropping, too.
Right.
He's going underwater with Susan Collins.
Time to get rid of him like they did with Joe. And this is the party who has always said, we defend democracy. Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. This will be another time in which the people, the Democrats, the Democrat voters, voted for a candidate that now the party says, nope, that candidate can't make it. We got to get that candidate out of here. It has nothing to do with the rape allegations and all the other stuff. We heard all of that already. This is just now he can't make the money, so you got to go.
Well, the Graham Plattner thing and the Eric Swalwell thing pretty much tells you all you need to know about what the Me Too movement was actually about, which really wasn't about women at all and protecting women and believing women. And secondly, what we've learned is that, winning is all that matters to these people. Winning, maintaining power, maintaining the money river is all they care about.
That's it.
If they have to defend a scumbag, they'll do it. But as soon as that scumbag becomes a millstone, they drop him like
money.
they drop. And there are a lot. You're right, because we used to say during the Biden years, the media and all these folks were lying to their own support base. That's who they were actually lying to.
It's money.
The people that got screwed over with the last election with the Kamala swap-a-rooney was their own base. Same thing with this guy.
Because they voted for, absolutely. They voted for Joe, and then they stick Kamala in there at the last minute, which is what they're trying to do here. And the same was true. You brought up Swalwell just a second ago. Pay close attention, folks. If you don't think this is the Democrat machine at work, listen to the scripting.
A lot has been said about me today through anonymous allegations.
That is Swalwell right there. Anonymous allegations. Swalwell just a few months ago.
A lot has been said about me today through anonymous allegations. I thought it was important that you see and hear from me directly.
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations.
The same script, Sean.
These allegations of sexual assault are flat false. They're absolutely false.
Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false.
They also come on the eve of an election where I have been the front-runner candidate for governor in California.
Regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality it will inflict.
I do not suggest to you in any way that I'm perfect or that I'm a saint.
I've been deeply humbled.
Jeez.
He ain't humble. For 18 years, you wore a Nazi tattoo. That means you are a Nazi. But he's also a real man.
You represent masculinity in certain ways.
Yes.
The Democrats have trouble connecting with male voters. Describe the masculinity that you represent.
Yeah.
I think it's just a healthy form of it, which is, look,
it's real healthy to twist women's arms up behind their back and then to break in their homes allegedly and hold them down against their will and rape them. That's a real healthy form of masculinity, isn't it?
He actually is the very definition of the toxic masculinity that they accuse everybody else of being. Like he's it. That's the toxic masculinity you've been describing for so long. And pointing the fingers at the wrong people, okay? And in any other time or normal times, if there's ever been that here in this country, any one or two of the things trailing behind this guy would have done him in.
Now
they don't care.
No, they don't. Well,
they until the money river got interrupted and the numbers started going underwater, they were fine with this guy.
They knew all of this for months. They knew this was going on, and they knew that these women had the goods on the guy, and yet they continued on. And you're right. Like I've been saying, it's been a money thing for the Democrats. When the money goes away, that's when you are going to go away as well. The only one that's had one little modicum of any kind of respect in all this.
So regardless, now when the entire Democratic Party in Maine has called him to leave, and now also, as far as I know, whether it's Schumer, Gillibrand, and other leadership in the DS and other people have all called him, had to go. He's a dead man walking. I don't know why he's trying to pretend that he's not done too. Even those Pod Save America people that pushed that dirtbag, and they dismissed those things in the New York Times article. Maybe they ought to apologize to the women that clearly they didn't believe or they dismissed that. I know Democrats that have, back to back endorsed and got all in on Swalwell, and we're on the Plattner train as well too.
Tim Walz posted last night, so he knows this is going on, right? Right? Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, knows this is going on. Tim Walz posted last night, I'll be in Maine tomorrow to back Graham Plattner. Plattner all the way. We need to win this. Before the break, I need to close the loop on what we were talking about at the bottom of the hour where you were mentioning that Mom Donnie's people called The View after The View got on him about being a commie.
That's alleged. That's what people are saying.
Oh, no, they do it. They do it all the time. Because, and I meant to bring this up in the last half hour, Michelle Obama, she reached out to Larry David. She's a producer on Larry David's new show, this show about Pursuit of Unhappiness.
I was going to bring that up, with Rob Reiner. And is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Were you going to bring up the Michelle Obama
I was going to bring that part of it up. No, I was going to bring up Rob Reiner's last on-screen appearance was in that show.
Well, go ahead and do that, and I'll tell you what Michelle did.
Well,
or you can tell us what Michelle did.
I don't know what Michelle did. I just know I was going to talk about this yesterday. I never got to it. And it's Rob Reiner's final appearance on screen in this Larry David show, which is kind of a mockumentary of history, or they mock history and reconfigure history.
Yeah.
And it's Rob Reiner as George Washington, basically insulting Donald Trump, and that's what it's all about. Variety magazine said Rob Reiner got one more laugh in. And it's like, no, his life ended pretty badly, and this is just kind of a pathetic way to go out. So,
well, it sounds like sour grapes toward Donald Trump. And again, you can't ask Rob Reiner, but what is, like I said last hour, what has Donald Trump done that you're upset about? The $1,000 for the kids, the fact that, America's a safer place and there's less crime in the streets, the fact that your wages are going, all these other things that he has done. Democrats will not say, well, this is what he's done that sucks. This is because all of it's been good.
And these showbiz people who are all multimillionaires themselves, who have made a great living off of capitalism, it's so pathetic and embarrassing. It really is. What did Michelle Obama do?
She called up Larry David because she's an executive producer on this show.
Shocking. Yeah, right.
Her and Barack.
Right.
So she calls up Larry David and says, do not, by any stretch of the imagination, put Cheryl Hines on there. Now
I didn't know that one.
Cheryl worked with Larry David for 12 years on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes, she did.
And she was one of his first picks to be in this show.
Right, right.
Michelle calls and says, don't you dare, because she's married to RFK Jr. She's full-on MAGA all the time, which she is not. She's nowhere near MAGA, and neither is Bobby. Bobby ain't MAGA either. But because she's married to Bobby and Bobby's in his administration, you can't have anything to do with Cheryl Hines. Get her out of there. And Larry David was like, really, she was the first one I was going to cast.
She's a very talented actor. She's a very funny person.
Yeah. So she won't be on the show now because, but again, it goes back to what we were talking about with the Mamdani people. The real fascists in the room are the people who do that kind of crap, what Michelle Obama did to Cheryl Hines on that show.
This is, in a sense, also why that German guy's movie with Armie Hammer is so significant. Because a lot of people in that community are cowed by this stuff. They don't speak their minds. They don't go full on with their politics. They keep quiet because they want to keep freaking working. And so the people that, go against that and are honest about what they think are the people that really stand out.
Ask John Voight.
John
Voight, an Academy Award winning actor, and because he turned conservative, or he came out of the closet as a conservative, boom. All his job just dried up.
Well, they tried to give it to Mel Gibson and Clint Eastwood, but they were both too big to cancel. Too big. And you kind of got to be that. You got to be too big to cancel, or you got to not care.
Too big to fail.
Too big to fail. Right.
The 08 time. All right, more Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA. It's going to be sun and clouds today with the mid-90s for the high. 78 right now. KTSA. President is in Turkey with Erdogan right now, and they're answering questions. There's nothing newsworthy there. It's kind of like the same old, and quite frankly, it's a little boring, so we're going to stick with this. If anything happens, we'll go there. Meanwhile, Mr. Rima.
Well, he is talking crap about NATO, and it's kind of interesting to watch him. He's talking crap about NATO, and they're all just kind of staring at him. Well, just a couple of things. Let's see. Jasmine Crockett, we love it when she's in the news, right? She says that people don't pay attention to black people anymore. They don't pay attention to black people, Trey.
Democrat Party.
Democrat Party. Well, she's talking Democrats, but I mean, this is an idea that's been around for a while. I don't know. Even though people are paying attention to her. I mean, she says something and makes the news. Because black people have historically held this down. We don't have the numbers in this country for sure, but percentage-wise, there is only one group of people, and she's alluding to white folks. When you walk into a room full of black people, you can almost guarantee that they believe in the democratic ideals. When you walk into a room full of white people, you don't know what you're walking into. It's the same old racial crap that we hear over and over and over again.
But the point is well made in that for years she's talking Democrat Party.
Right.
The Democrat Party has ignored black people.
Well, they wanted them on the if you will, the political plantation. Don't question, just follow and vote for us because we're here for you, even though they didn't do anything for them. So I mean, there is a point there.
She's right.
But I just get tired of the idea of, that black people aren't being listened to. This country did elect a black man to the highest office in the land twice, and we almost elected a black woman to the Oval Office, or we could have. So whatever, Jazz. I did want to talk about an eating story. We have, let's see, Joey Chestnut won again the hot dog eating contest, right? I don't know how many championships this is for him. But we have a Florida man who won a key lime pie eating contest. I was reading about this. I didn't even know this really existed anymore. It's the world famous key lime pie eating championship in Florida, the Florida Keys. Kevin Renley, he's a 62-year-old guy, and this is his third attempt at winning the key lime pie eating contest or championship. And he kept losing, he said, because of the whipped cream, Trey. He had a hard time getting through the whipped cream on top of the pie.
It's a problem.
And so what he figured out in practicing with his wife is that if he took his shirt off and when he went down to start eating the pie, he got the whipped cream on his chest.
That's what you do.
When he stood up, half that whipped cream went with him.
That's correct.
And then he could start with the business of actually eating the pie.
And then he flipped it upside down to eat the crust first.
Yes, he was smart about
key.
it.
He had a strategy.
He got rid
cheated.
of the. Well, I don't know. He won, so I guess they all saw this happen. So I guess however you do it is however you do it.
I got to tell you, man, the best key lime pie in the world is right there. I was there last year, right there.
Oh, in Florida.
Oh, well,
yeah.
there.
I guess
Key West.
Oh,
oh
right.
my gosh, that's some great key lime pie.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, my God.
I like it.
What's the name of that place? Froggy's or something? Froggy's key lime pie?
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's so good.
Would you ever do an eating contest? It's interesting how much money is made by people who are eating champions. I mean, I was reading about this, and you learn that there's actually a lot of these kinds of things that go on across the country.
Oh, yeah.
Where people have to eat a lot of something really, really fast. How do you become a competitive eater? I don't remember my guidance counselor in high school offering that up as an option.
No.
You go to college, you can work at a convenience store, join the military,
Yeah.
or become a competitive eater.
Not
So
something.
Joey won this time?
Joey won,
66 hot dogs.
Oh,
It was his 18th championship. The guy is a monster. And remember, he went to the competitors a couple of years ago and ate for the competitor. And now he realizes, no, I got to get back home. So he's got 18 belts, 18 hot dog belts.
And you know what? I met him once when he started out. I was in Austin, and he came into the studio. And he's actually, at that point, was the nicest guy who was just as bewildered as anybody else that this is what he ended up doing with his life.
Sure.
And just a very cool, laid-back guy. But, yeah, he had gotten upset about some sponsorships or something, or things that were preventing him from going to other companies or eating other kinds of hot dogs because of the famous hot dogs. I can't think of the name of them right now. Nathan's. And he went to somebody else, and then Nathan's basically begged his ass to come back.
Yeah.
Well,
because he's such a crowd pleaser.
He went to the competitor because the competitor threw a ton of money at him to buy him off.
Right.
And then he realized they're nothing compared to Nathan's.
Yeah. Well, Nathan's wanted him back too.
Well,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This other company's nothing compared to Nathan's, and so it's best he be over there because they're the ones with all the attention and the moolah.
Well, it's just an interesting life this dude has had thus far. That this is what he's known for, and he really is the GOAT of competitive eating, the greatest of all time.
How many hot dogs have you eaten at one time?
At one time?
One setting, one time.
The most I could ever do is 3.
You've done
so
3?
The idea of doing 60 is, insane.
66.
I could do 3, on a good day.
They chow down and then they put the bun in the water and chow it down that way, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's a technique there.
Oh.
I would think after a hot dog eating contest that like the next 3 days digestively would be kind of difficult.
3 days, 3 months.
I think it'd be
more Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA.
The Ramsey Reality Check is brought to you by Steve.
All right, I got some quick hits. I want to get into some quick hits. Don't know if there's any truth to this whatsoever, but she's right a lot of the time. I won't say she's right all the time. I'm not even saying I like her or I'm endorsing Laura Loomer. Okay, I'm not. But she seems to get some information and has been right. But she says that Mitch McConnell's dead. She says he's brain dead, and he's not coming back. And what? What do you? Oh, and the door closed all on its own. As I said that, maybe it was Mitch closing the door over here. And so anyway, the spokesperson though says he is continuing to improve, and he's working closely with his staff on upcoming votes while the Senate is out. The Senate is out, by the way. They're going to be out for another couple of weeks, and then they're going to come back for about a week and be out for an entire month.
Laura Loomer, she's the one that came up with Pam Blondie. Wasn't she the one that was like going after her and stuff and back in the day? Is that Laura Loomer who I'm thinking of?
I don't remember her calling her that, but maybe
I did. I thought I did.
Maybe she did.
I heard that, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But she may have been going after her. I have no idea. But anyway, she did say that that Mitch McConnell is brain dead. He's not coming back. His people say that's simply not true. San Diego County residents fined for not taking down the United States flag.
With fines to take down the symbol of America.
No, flag isn't coming down. No, everybody had flags up, the whole community. But now the last 2 years, it's just slowly, one after another, everyone's flags have come down.
They revisit this again. If the policy stands, then I will be fined every month that my flag is up.
This flag represents freedom and sacrifice and blood that was shed for this country.
Cook says she's a direct descendant of revolutionaries. She wears a Daughters of the American Revolution tattoo. Her husband's father received a Purple Heart and Navy Cross for his sacrifice in World War II.
So San Diego County says you can't have the flag of the United States up in the United States. We won't allow you to fly that, and they are fining these residents $100 a day that their flag is flying on their property.
We're pretty much the only country that has issues with its own flag in that sense. I can't think of another country that has issues flying its own damn flag.
Well, it's only select in certain places, too.
Sure.
Notice San Diego County is in the heart of the blue country. People in the red country, they pay you to fly the flag.
Isn't that where Marines train?
They're right up the road. Yeah. But anyway, it's ridiculous, and to think that's happening in our country right now is just with the communist takeover. Hey man, they're just going to do the hammer and sickle and a red flag. Don't worry. For those of you like Sonny Hostin that can't stand to see the stars and stripes, not the flag of America. There's no such thing as a flag of America or American flag. It's the flag of the United States. If you can't stand it, don't worry, hon. It won't be long. It'll be hammer and sickle. It'll all be red.
We'll have a whole new flag that everybody can fly, and we'll have to fly. You'll get arrested. Sent to a camp.
The Federal Reserve out with a report saying that illegal immigration under Joe Biden drove housing costs up 30%, 20% in rent growth. No increases in wages. Well, of course, once again, it's the law of economy. Okay? If you have a lot of people that are chasing a handful of product, what happens to the price of the product? It goes up by a lot, which is exactly what happened. They imported a bunch of people from around the world, and those people were looking for housing. And they were using our tax money to buy their houses or rent their apartments, and so the price of housing in America went sky high. It was Obama's third term designed to destroy the United States of America and our economy, guys. If you ever let them return in November 3rd, you let them back in power, they're going to go right back to what they were doing before the last 4 years previous to the Trump administration.
Well, they're destroyers. It's what they want to destroy the country and replace it with something else where, they get to sit on top of the pyramid and rule everybody and keep all the money and all that stuff.
95% of what you make goes to the government in a communist society. Social media, all right, got a fight with Trump on Giorgia Meloni. We've been watching this because she did not help with her bases in Italy during the Iran conflict. So apparently the two of them have been going at it. So Trump puts up a meme over the week. I don't know. Did y'all talk about this yesterday?
I didn't talk about this yesterday.
Puts up a meme over the weekend where she's looking like lovingly up at him, like lovingly, like like Travis looks at Taylor, looking up, and she's like, and he put up a meme saying, restraining order needed. Speaking of Taylor and Travis.
Yes.
Y'all did talk about the wedding yesterday?
I talked about it in the sense that, first off, they turned Madison Square Garden into a wedding venue, like a community center. And on this particular weekend, July 4th, the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and half of New York is shut down for Taylor's freaking wedding, or whatever the hell that was. And I just found it obnoxious.
And we also talked about them having walls up.
Walls.
And 4 or 5 deep on the sidewalk of officers, security.
Those evil cops were there.
They like walls and they like security.
Right.
Except when it comes to the border.
Right.
She had the longest vows in the history of vowdom, 20 minutes. Just hers to him. 20 minutes. She stood there and made her vows to him.
Wow.
And she walked down an elongated aisle, which basically stretched the entire floor of MSG, with her song from 2008 called Love Story that she wrote when she was 17, playing the whole time as she's walking.
That's so
her
sweet.
own song. She's walking the aisle to her own song. The one who cried the most, according to those who were inside, was Travis. He cried.
Bawled his eyes out.
The whole time.
Now his life's over.
Yeah.
He landed himself a jackpot.
Maybe.
No, he's saying, I signed an NDA, man.
That's what I'm saying about it. You better be crying, buddy.
I signed a, what do they call those things?
A prenup.
Prenup. I signed a big prenup,
She
man.
gonna break up with you and write a Grammy Award-winning record about how much you suck.
That woman's worth $6 billion. And
there's going to be a movie coming out.
Oh, of course there is. There probably already is one. You know, a Netflix thing produced by Barack and Michelle.
I'm swifted out, man.
Shark attacks in U.S. waters double now from what they were last year, and last year was almost triple what they were the year before.
You know Sean's theory about the shark attacks.
Oh, yeah.
Sean, tell it.
Well, in August of 2001, prior to the terrorist attacks, you had a bunch of shark attacks along the coast of Florida, New York, in places where you wouldn't normally have that sort of thing. And I always said it's like the sharks knew there was going to be blood in the water and started moving in. So every time I hear about a lot of shark attacks, I start bracing for what's going to happen.
You might be right. You might be right. What the guys in this business will tell, the oceanographers tell you is the reason, is that we have protected seals and sea lions. They are now protected species.
Right.
So you have a whole bunch of more seals and sea lions for the sharks to feed on. So you have a whole bunch more sharks.
Right.
And what they're doing is they're coming closer to our shores. And so because they're coming closer to the shores and there's more of them, we're having more attacks. And it's all because these wacko environmentalists getting in the way of the circle of life. It's the circle of life. Sharks need to eat, and they eat sea lions, and they eat seals and stuff like, those little baby things that swim around a lot, the little tiny ones. They eat them all the time, too. And so when you say those are protected species, there's more of them, there's going to be more sharks, more food. 65 attacks worldwide last year. America had the most attacks last year at 25 and 12 deaths last year.
That's a lot of sharks.
A lot of sharks.
So, again, if you look at how liberal, environmental policies lead to big, massive wildfires because they don't get in there and clean out the scrub.
Same thing.
It's kind of the same thing. You're protecting all the food source there, so they're going to have more to eat, so they're going to start moving in. Or they can't find more seals or whatever. But, a lot of their policies always lead to environmental ruin one way or the other.
Well, sure. It's the circle of life, man. Just get out of the way and let the circle of life work. It's got to do that.
Let the shark eat. Let them eat.
God set it up that way. Quit trying to be God. You know what? If Americans, and people in the world in general, would stop trying to play God, things would be a whole lot better. It would be let him do the job. He knows what he's doing.
When people start seeing themselves as God, that's when bad things happen.
Ask the people of Babel.
Right.
They know.
Yeah, they don't have much to say to you because they couldn't understand the damn thing anybody was saying. Right.
They can understand you at Wealth Watch Advisors, that's for sure. If you are looking for an advisor, a wealth advisor, I recommend to you Wealth Watch Advisors. And why? Well, first of all, you work hard for your money. It doesn't matter how much you make, okay? It's time to put your money to work for you, and that's what Wealth Watch Advisors will help you do. They are fiduciary advisors, and they really sit down with you, and they did this with me, to go over, truly understand your entire estate concerns, and then they come up with a strategy, whether it's tax mitigation, estate and legacy planning, retirement income mapping, insurance concerns, so much more. They have to put all that together to make it work just for you. It's not just a matter of saying, okay, you've got $20,000, it's time to invest it. Let's choose these options and let's look at no. It's not that. You've got so many other concerns that are on the plate for you that help your overall wealth picture, and they understand that at Wealth Watch Advisors. That's why there's no cookie-cutter options. This is tailor-made to you specifically and what your situation is. What is your tax situation? What is your health situation? What is your insurance situation? How many years are you going to be reliant on that income in retirement, and where's it going to come from? Those are the things that Wealth Watch Advisors actually does. You're going to like these folks over there. Why don't you do what I did and just schedule this brief conversation to see if they're the right fit for you? You work hard for your money, let it work hard for you, and your friends at Wealth Watch Advisors can help you do that. WealthWatchAdvisors.com. That's WealthWatchAdvisors.com. This message is a paid endorsement. Investment advisor services offered through Wealth Watch Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Investing involves risk, and past performance does not guarantee future results. Sun and clouds, mid-90s today, 79 now, KTSA. We're Ware and Rima, KTSA.
Well, I got a couple of things here. I got distracted watching, they're rolling the video of Plattner over and over again where he's going to figure out his new path forward after these rape allegations. And you're seeing some, and he's been dropped. The endorsements have been pulled. Chuck Schumer pulled his endorsement. They just rolled the list of all the political types who have pulled their endorsement of this guy. You and I think we both pretty much agree that this had nothing to do with his behavior, which they were fine with until, he started having trouble with the money, started going underwater with the numbers, and only by a handful of percentage points. It wasn't like a big drop below Susan Collins that did him in, but his own behavior, didn't matter to these people at all until, again, they started seeing that maybe, he's a loser. Now they're gonna do the same thing they did to Joe Biden with the Kamala swap. I mean, that's these are not people who inordinately actually give a crap about democracy or democratic ideals, which they wipe their butts with as soon as it doesn't serve them. But one thing about the whole Graham Plattner thing, and I will bring Swalwell into it again, and I know it doesn't really matter what a guy like me thinks to these people, but these people when these people go off on character. These are the idiots who brought us the Me Too movement, which I think we all pretty much know at this point, unless you're a total Democrat stooge, was a complete farce. The Me Too movement was about targeting your political enemies. That's all it was. And you've seen this on full display again with the Plattner thing. They've got other women who have accused him of stuff who are coming forward now saying, I guess, my attack wasn't good enough for you or wasn't bad enough for you, right? You were still willing to, as you said a little while ago, hold your nose and vote for this guy when you heard about what he did to me. Well, the reality is it has nothing to do with these women. Again, the one thing I'm taking away from this whole Plattner thing is something that we've always known. All that matters to them is winning. All that matters to them is maintaining the power and maintaining the money. Money's a part of it, but they also the power and the control.
Sure.
They don't care what they have to do or who they have to elect to maintain that stuff.
They have to have the power to have the money, and that's what they go for. If they've got the power, then they can draw the money to themselves. In fact, they can rig the system to pay themselves, which we know that now because of Doge. We know that now because of all the fraud that we are uncovering all across this country. If they've got the power, they can give all that money away to people who then cycle it through. They launder it and send it back to these Democrats and some Republicans in Congress. That's how they go from a broke bartender to having all the money in the world in just a couple of years. And so this is a guy that they were willing, and I said earlier, Sonny Hostin said she's going to hold her nose and vote for him if she lived in Maine. It's not your nose you need to hold. Obviously, you need to be holding something else to make sure he doesn't get to it, because that's the guy who apparently, allegedly, treats women like crap and rapes them, apparently, allegedly, based on this latest thing that is not new. They knew about this. They allowed it to go to the primary. The voters of Maine voted for this guy. Now they're trying to do what Democrats always do the switcheroo and get rid of him and put their own person in place. Why? Because he's not raising money. The fundraising is not there. They have to have the cash or you're gone.
Well, they got to have the cash. He's also got to win the election. And if he's going to lose the election, they got to cut him loose. And it looked like he wasn't going to win against somebody like Susan Collins. So, this is who they are, okay? The ends justify the means. You want to talk about Marxism. The ends justify the means. It doesn't matter what you have to do or who you have to elect as long as you get the result you want.
Let's have a Democrat back that up. Angela Also Brooks in the Capitol she's a representative, walking onto an elevator.
What do you think about the controversies, the social media posts that leaked, and now this scandal of him soliciting?
I don't know him, honestly. I've never met him. What I do know is that I'm supporting Democrats. We need Democrats in office to fight back against Donald Trump.
We got to get Democrats in office, and that's all that matters. He wore a Nazi tattoo for 18 years. You're a Nazi. He allegedly knocked these other women around that they had admitted, allegedly raped this woman, said to a teenage girl who attempted suicide, and she failed, she's still alive, honey, try harder next time, and then said to a Purple Heart recipient here in America, the MFer doesn't deserve to live. Let him die. That's this guy.
Well, and this is something that I try to put out there as often as possible. They couch everything they do in this idea that Democrats care about people and Democrats care about certain communities, and that's how they justify their agenda and what they do. But they actually don't care about anybody. They don't care. I mean, we've watched with the trans movement, we've watched these people trounce over women since the trans movement first kicked in. The trans movement would be dropped like a hot rock in the instant that it began to affect them institutionally in a negative way, just like they're dropping Plattner now. They don't actually care about anybody. They care about the money and the power, and that's it. So that's where you and me, they don't have to convince you and I of anything. You know what I mean? They lie to their own people. We were talking about Biden and Kamala. They lie to their own people. And these are the stooges I mentioned earlier. Okay, they'll believe anything they shovel into their heads about character, about race, about hate. And yet, who are the people in the room who are truly obsessed with race and truly obsessed with maintaining power, who are themselves actual oligarchs or backed by actual oligarchs? It's these people. They're pretty much guilty of everything they claim everybody else to be guilty of. And you were seeing this at play with the Plattner thing. They didn't give a crap about any of this stuff. This guy could have been a serial killer kicking babies, and they still would have voted for him if they could have gotten him into office. They just realized at some point they couldn't do that.
Elizabeth Warren said this.
That's my kind of man.
That's my kind of man.
Really?
So what they did was they found a guy with a furry beard, right, and said that I'm a masculine, I'm a man kind of a man, I'm a real man kind of a man. And then they held him up to try to move him into the power of the Democrats, because that's how they make money. And so now that he's not making money, and his polls seem to be like he may not even beat Susan Collins, he's got to go. No, you're not allowed to do that. Not in America. If you're gonna, of course they are.
That's exactly what they're going to do.
But if you're going to represent yourself as the party of democracy, and we're protecting democracy, but yet every chance you get, you crap on democracy, that's what they do. And so that's what they're going to do. Again, this time they're going to shuffle him off because he's canceled all of his events this week. He's already said, I'm trying to find the path forward. Anytime they do that, they are done. And they're going to put the Jill lady back in there. They're going to try to beat Susan Collins with her. But the voters of Maine, they done spoke, everybody. They've already said what they want and who they want, and it's Graham, Nazi man, Plattner. That's who they want.
Remember what I told you with the Brett Kavanaugh situation. They were all about hashtag Me Too, hashtag you got to believe the woman, and they don't believe these women.
No, it doesn't matter. They don't even get to the point where it matters whether it's real or not. I mean, the whole Me Too movement was about targeting their political opponents, really. It's like the trans movement. It was never about women or listening to women or protecting women. It never had anything to do with that.
And it wasn't just their opponents, because they went after, the Al Franken.
Right. Well, they had no choice with him. You know what I mean, in a sense?
Maybe, but, I mean, they went after Al Franken. They got the movie producer guy, the Weinstein guy. They had to get him.
Well, again,
that movement went after those guys as well. But you're right. I mean, they really were targeting people on the – it was really a movement designed to go get Brett Kavanaugh.
It really was.
That's what it was.
I mean, Weinstein,
let's get rid of him.
They couldn't get around Weinstein, okay? And Al Franken had the picture. You can't get around that. So they, in a sense, they sacrificed them to the greater movement. But ultimately, it was about Kavanaugh, it was about targeting people, and that's all it was about.
And Donald Trump.
Because
the grab him with Billy Bush thing on the bus was also out there at the time. All right, quick break. Our friends at River City Oral Surgery are ready to talk with you about full mouth dental implants at any time. Yeah, and all you got to do is go online, rivercityoms.com, rivercityoms.com. That's where you see their procedures and their prices. At River City Oral Surgery, there's no games and no gimmicks, no back rooms where they take you back there and try to upsell you on something. No, they'll never do that. That's not who they are. They're good, straight-up people at River City Oral Surgery. And each phase of your full-mouth dental implants are handled by a specialist in that phase. So you're in the best hands possible for the best care at all times when you go see our friends at River City Oral Surgery. Dr. Mark Havercorn is a real blessing to our community. He knows about full-mouth dental implants, how you can have a beautiful smile, but also a much healthier smile. With these dental implants, you'll be chewing better, less choking if you're experiencing that because you have missing or broken teeth. They just want to help you get into these full-mouth dental implants, and they do it openly and honestly every single time. And that's what I really appreciate about River City Oral Surgery. Check them out online, see what they do, check their prices, and then book your appointment. Go in and see them at rivercityoms.com.
South Texas.
Sing it. Uh-huh. 8:35 KTSA. I told you earlier this morning, Toyota's moving their plant from Mexico for the Tacoma trucks. The president talked about it in Turkey this morning.
$19 trillion, $19.2 trillion to be exact, being invested in the United States. That's 7 or 8 times more than it's ever had. It's a world record, not just a U.S. record. And I just read where, in fact, coming over, I was in the car with those beautiful horses, those great riders, those great soldiers, and it came over the wires that Toyota is moving out of Mexico into the United States and building one of the biggest truck and car plants ever built. It's amazing. That's what tariffs do, if properly used. And so we've never had a more exceptional economy or potential economy. There's never been anything like it.
So what that means for San Antonio, because they're bringing it here, the Tacoma trucks are the most popular truck in the world. They actually increase in value. They don't decrease in value.
They increase in value.
Yes,
That's
sir.
interesting.
So if you buy a Tacoma truck for $50K now, when you sell it several years from now, you're likely, if you sell it right, you're likely to sell it for more money, not less.
Now, why is that? Why do they appreciate instead of depreciate?
Because it's so popular. Everybody wants a Tacoma, and so there's only so many of them that they can possibly make. And so people actually just scoop these things up on the resale market like crazy.
Wow.
It's insane. And the prices that they'll give, a lot of people who want a Tacoma, they don't even ask for the price. They just go, I'll take it no matter what it is. I want it.
Right.
So it's coming here to San Antonio. It's about $4 billion when it's all said and done, 2,000-plus jobs.
That's great.
And, of course, the Democrats in Bexar County and San Antonio are trying to, take credit for it. We've done a great job with this city, and that's why they're –
What did they do?
Nothing. They didn't do anything. Has nothing to do with this city. Has nothing to do with the Democrats and the Commie Council in San Antonio. In fact, quite the opposite. It has to do with Donald John Trump. So you people in Bexar County who love this, you people in San Antonio who love having 2,000 more workers here making all the – and by the way, Sean, it's not just the 2,000 more workers going to be working at Toyota. You have to have all the other ancillary businesses. You have to have a company that's making dashboards to go in these trucks, and the steering wheels to go in these trucks, and the pedals for your feet to push that goes in these trucks. And all of those companies are separate manufacturers who then hire people, pay them a lot of money, and then you got to hire somebody to drive the truck to take those steering wheels and those dashboards and those pedals over to Toyota so Toyota can put it all together. That's how this thing works, and that's how it spreads out. So when you hear 2,000, that's 2,000 going to work out here at Toyota off of Watson Road south of town. That's not the entirety of this deal. It's, just enormous amount of money. And it did not happen under Joe Biden, Barack Hussein. They didn't announce any new manufacturing.
Well, no, and they pretty much went to war against the auto industry and the energy industry, on many different levels. So, one of the things, it's not surprising to me that local leadership is trying to take, credit for this. Because they love to either blame Donald Trump for what they claim he's done wrong or take credit for the stuff that they claim he's done right. Or they don't claim he's done right. They claim they're the ones who actually brought it into your world. They're horrible people, Trey.
Well, let me give you an example. Gina Ortiz-Jones happens to be the mayor of San Antonio, and so they had the Kanye West thing here. Thousands of people showed up.
60,000.
60,000 people showed up, and we still have, the roads that you can't drive on. You can't get around town. You got potholes everywhere and flooding. That still, all those things are absolutely true. But what she's also done now, she fired off a letter yesterday back to the Trump administration. We don't want the ICE facility here. You have to live by our rules, and here are the rules. And I put it up on the X account. All the rules she's saying that ICE has to abide by. Well, first of all, ICE doesn't have to abide by anything she says. ICE is a federal entity. The federal entity supersedes the local entity on immigration issues. But here's the important part. She doesn't want it here because she wants more illegal aliens here. And we know that illegal aliens bring crime. We saw that happen when Joe Biden was the puppet president. Crime went up, rape went up, murder went up, so on and so forth. But what didn't go up was wages. Wages are going up now because we're deporting all of these people in here. Again, economy, The more people competing for jobs means the companies pay lower wages because they have a larger pool to choose from. The reason your wages are going up, Bexar County and San Antonio, not Gina Ortiz-Jones, your wages are going up because Donald Trump is deporting cheap labor out of this country.
Well,
That's
he's deporting cheap labor, and he's also encouraging, more manufacturing
Correct.
to come here stateside, which he did in the first term when he was in office. Here.
All
if you
works
remember,
together.
he incentivized a lot of these companies to start, making their stuff here inside the States. So it's Donald Trump being Donald Trump, and it's bringing good business in its wake and a lot of jobs here, man.
That's right. Okay, let me turn to Tallarico. I call him Tallarico now because that's his name, but he really is.
It was Talafrico, but now or Transrico.
And Tallarico. I've come up with all these names for him, but I'm back to calling him Tallarico because that's what's going to be on the ballot. I said I'm going to stop the creepy names, but Tallarico, I kind of like that one. Anyway. He said yesterday in a video that he's all about affordability, and he's because that's the word that they're all using, affordability. So he said, "I'm all about affordability. You elect me to the U.S. Senate, and it's going to be great for affordability. I'll bring affordability to the country." Well, then you look at his record, which of course Jake Tapper's not going to do, and ABC is not going to look at his record, or if they do, they're going to hide it.
Well, let's not muddy up the discussion with the facts, Trey. So what can you tell us about it?
Well, first of all, he voted for a state income tax in the state of Texas. You guys in favor of a state income tax? He voted for property tax increases, for your property taxes to go up.
Shocking.
He voted for higher taxes on working families in the state of Texas. You work all day, every day. Do you want to pay higher taxes in the state of Texas? Tallarico's for that. He voted against the child tax credit. So you families that are struggling just to put food on the table and put your kiddo in a daycare center because it's all super expensive, he voted against you getting a child tax credit. He voted for high death taxes in the state of Texas, which is the most obscene tax in the history of the world.
Paying taxes when you're dead is kind of a stupid idea. Yeah, I agree.
Are you work really hard to build something, and you want to leave it to your children? You have worked, and you have sacrificed, and you have taken risk, and you have built something that you want to pass on to your children or grandchildren, and they come along and say, just because you're dead. Now, you've already paid taxes on the property. You've already paid taxes on the business. You've already paid income taxes and Social Security. But just because you died, now your estate has to pay more taxes. That is obscene. It's criminal is what it is.
How old is the Beatles song, The Tax Man?
Like 1965, 66.
I know. People have been singing about this, that line in the song, they take the pennies off your eyes for the government.
Right, we want those.
And Tallarico also voted for higher taxes on unrealized tax capital gains, which is, so your house goes up by X amount. You buy the house at $200,000, and now it's worth $250,000, but you're still living there. You haven't sold it. You have to pay the higher taxes on those unrealized capital gains.
Right.
He voted for that. He voted against the big beautiful bill. So when he talks about affordability, again, that's affordability for him apparently, because he'll be making a whole lot of money in D.C. plus all the money on the side he can grab, stick in his hands in other people's pockets. But it's not affordability for us.
In other words, Trey, he's a typical Democrat.
He's a liar.
He wants to tax the crap out of you. He wants your money on every level he can get it. He even wants your money when you're dead.
But in order to get your vote, he's saying, I'm all about affordability.
Well, you can claim anything you want to in this world. Doesn't make it true.
That's right.
You can throw the A word around all you want and yet be doing the same thing. We've already discovered that people like him are not really all that uncomfortable with their own hypocrisy and lies. So, sure, he's going to... It's all about Donald Trump, and he's hurting the economy. They claim this crap every day, and it's like, where's that going on? Where's Donald Trump's policies hurting the economy? Where are Donald Trump's policies, economic policies, hurting affordability? Where's that going on?
It goes back to the video that I cut this morning, which was all about, the Democrats say they hate Donald Trump, and I said, okay, he's given $1,000 to 6 million children yesterday. By the time they can get that money, many of them will be millionaires and even multimillionaires. There are thousands of less expensive medications on the market today because of Donald Trump. I just mentioned higher wages. There's smaller government and less regulations. City beautification happening all across this country. Fewer drug deaths, including fentanyl, less crime in this country. The stock market, if you have a 401k and you're talking about investing, if you have money in the stock market, it hit 53,000 on the Dow yesterday for the first time in American history. So your 401k is doing great. He's a guy who's giving his salary back to the government, which is $2.5 million. Plus, he announced last night Sikorsky is going to pay for a helipad at the White House instead of having to land on the grass. And this is environmentalists should love this.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff they should love, but
instead of ruining the grass they've been landing Marine One on the grass there for 50 years. Sikorsky, not you,
right.
not me. Sikorsky's going to pay to put down a helipad.
He also posted yesterday, he was talking about, I think this morning, that he's having an impact on the retail world. Walmart's cutting their prices across the board, and largely it's felt that has to do with his pressure or, a good talking to or what have you. So, he's a winner when it comes to the economy. This has been his whole life, okay? He's been in business and the economy his whole life, and he knows what he's doing.
So what is it you Democrats hate that he's doing? All these things are good for Democrats, too.
They only hate him because he's not them. If he was one of them, they'd love his ass.
He even sat down at the Resolute desk yesterday with his Waffle House hat on and said this after losing to Belgium.
From now on, the Belgian waffle is the American waffle. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
More Ware and Rima coming up, KTSA. Sun and clouds today, mid-90s for the high. 79 right now, KTSA. D1, we're Ware and Rima. What's going on, Mr. Rima?
Well, we're both fans of the two Johns over at Breitbart. We have John Hayward on, once a week, and I know we both appreciate John Nolte. And we also talk about AI a lot on this show. And, I think everybody has to kind of figure out what their relationship is going to be with artificial intelligence, because it's here in every part of our lives, whether you want it to be or not. It just sort of is. The genie's out of the bottle. And before I get, Nolte wrote a piece yesterday about AI that's interesting to me. He has a good point, because John has always been on the side of, he kind of criticized the push against AI technology, especially coming into the arts and coming into music and coming into film. He's basically said, well, it's no different than using special effects or computers to do a drum riff or, in a movie using CGI to create special effects. And that's kind of where I am with it, in that it's a great tool. I've talked about this before. I think AI is a great paintbrush. The more I learn about prompting, the more I realize that AI really is a child with an incredible lightning speed learning curve, in that it learns as you're working with it. It's really weird. And my standard for me is I use it to enhance things I have already done. I don't use it to write anything, but I use it for the cover of the new book that I put out. I have a picture that I took of myself, and I wanted something that kind of looked like a painting, so I used AI to make it look like a painting. So to me, that's a high-class photo filter, editing filter. But increasingly, it's being used to create music and to create movies. And Nolte does a piece on an actor or actress, however we say it now, whose name is Tilly Norwood. Well, she doesn't exist. She is completely AI generated, and she is going to be in a movie called Misaligned, and it's going to be a completely AI generated movie. And Nolte's point is that, one of the big box office films over the past few weeks has been the new Toy Story movie, which is a completely computer-generated movie. And his point is, what's the difference? I like this line. What is the artistic and moral difference between this and Toy Story 5? What is the difference between Tilly Norwood and Buzz Lightyear? There is no difference, and he's absolutely right. Now, me personally, I've never been a fan of computer-generated movies. I just don't find them interesting. I'm old school. I like old school animation. I just don't like the computer cartoon movies. I've just never been a fan. But that's not saying that they haven't created really, really good ones that were, I thought Ants was a really great movie, one of the first computer-generated movies. So I'm kind of seeing his point to a certain extent. I know for me personally, though, I don't want to create anything with AI. For me, it's always going to be about enhancing something that I've already done. But you're really kind of wasting your breath in trying to fight it like some people are. Because, again, it's here. It is probably going to be responsible for making some great music and great movies and great TV show and great images that people will love. And if it sucks, because for me, a lot of it seems plastic. It doesn't seem there's not a lot of depth to a lot of stuff I see generated by AI. If people are not liking it at some point, I foresee kind of a retro movement where all of a sudden you have people making movies the old school way and people want to see that. Or you'll have records being put out that are recorded with analog. You see this retro stuff all the time. But it's like when people go back to using flip phones because they've kind of been phoned out with the technology. So it's either going to sink or swim with the movie, with the arts. It's either going to be something people love or they're going to at some point get tired of it. So
first of all, Nolte is all for it. He's 100% for it. He said, thank God for AI, more AI. Close the door on the old way of making movies. This is the way of the future.
Sure.
Scorsese's doing it now. Spielberg is doing it now. And the main reason for those guys is they can create reasonable content. I trust those two guys out of everybody out of Hollywood if they're going to make something that's worthwhile, that, they can make a product that's really good and cost them a whole lot less to do it. They don't have to go around and beg people for money, although Spielberg would never have to beg at this point. But you know what I'm saying, early on.
Yeah.
But early on, and a lot of people do have to beg. And so, that's been the main point. The other point is that Nolte has consistently, from the beginning of AI, said about it in the movie industry is, you don't have to worry about these turds going out and tanking your movie before it ever comes out by getting all political and saying stupid stuff. That has cost Disney billions of dollars by their actors and actresses. When the movie's done, they've wrapped production, they got it ready, they've announced the come date, and they have blasted it everywhere. Then the actor or actress will go out and say stupid stuff politically, and it tanks. It just dies.
With the Supergirl movie, it happened with Snow White.
So many others.
Where they are running their mouths about politics, and then people don't want to see the damn movie.
Yes.
I mean, you're still going to have to make a good movie. You're still going to have to make a good piece of music.
That's what I said about those two. I trust those two to make really good movies, right?
It's got to be. Well, Scorsese, I do more than Spielberg at this point. But I mean, you still got to come up with a.
Yeah.
The same elements still are at play. If we're going to talk about film. Story and character, story and character still matter. If you create something where the story sucks or the character has no depth, it's not going to do anything for people any more than if you're using real.
That's right. And Sean, don't worry, because the retro thing is real and it's always going to be around. There will people, there's people right now that buy nothing but vinyl records because that's what they want to listen to. They want to hear the snap, crackle, and pop of a vinyl record.
Well, look at Riccardi. He buys real books. He refuses to buy the downloads.
By the way, I'm about to do more of that after what PlayStation did last week. I'm definitely going to be buying more books.
What was this? I missed this.
They just went in and wiped out.
Oh, I did see that. People lost their collections. That's right.
Millions of titles.
I did see
that. And they said, so what? We don't care. You're done. And so I'm going to start buying. Well, my rule is if I want it to live on my bookshelf, if it's worthy to live on my bookshelf, I buy a hard copy of it.
Right.
But anyway, that's a different subject. The retro thing will take effect, and people will make movies the old-fashioned way and music the old-fashioned way, playing through a Marshall amplifier into a microphone.
I just think you still have to make good stuff.
Of course
if AI can't ultimately make good stuff, people will reject it.
More Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA.
Dave Rand.
Second day of the Tyler Robinson hearings and the Charlie Kirk assassination, the alleged assassin. Which there's lots of questions about it, but people like Candace Owens and to a certain degree Tucker Carlson and all those, they have made a killing, no pun intended, on the conspiracy theories that they have been pushing around out there. Everything from Israel was involved in this because Charlie was turned against Israel, and he had told Israel, no, I don't want your $1 billion gift to TPUSA. And then, of course, Candy Owens with, it's an inside job. It must have been an inside, somebody from the inside.
But weren't we saying earlier on that maybe there's something to Candace Owens? Because I was saying, I think she's a nut job. I mean, I've always thought she's kind of a creep.
On this issue, she certainly is nutty on this issue. She's had a track record for some decent stuff elsewhere. But in this, she's just totally crazy. No. And by the way, just because I watch somebody or listen to somebody doesn't mean I endorse what they say.
No,
I intake a bunch of stuff, even from M. Snow.
I just think she's in particular vile because, in a sense, she's made it personal, and it's just really grotesque.
Absolutely. And Tucker the same way. There's a lot of stuff that early on, man, I was like, Tucker, he's doing good, man, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I of course, always say look at the money because it costs a lot of money to produce these podcasts. You wouldn't believe the cost that's involved in a podcast. And so somewhere somebody must have got to them and started paying them. That's all I can, I'm not accusing them. I just say it always turns out to be something like that. But he had a 180. Islam's great now. They don't want to blow up the world. Islam is the greatest religion of peace that ever existed on the planet. Now you're like, what are you, what are you doing?
Well, especially with a guy like Tucker, I don't really understand it. To me, it feels more like an ego-driven thing.
Well, it might be.
It just really does.
Might be.
I don't know. I just think she's an a-hole. I just really just think she's a bad person.
And I don't know her. She might be. I have no idea. But on this issue, she's been checked out because she's been, to me, this is just my personal opinion, she's been accusing TPUSA and implicating them in his death, which is just, to me, that's an insane thing to be saying. And I lean toward conspiracy theories. 1963 in Dallas was not one guy sitting on his butt in a schoolroom, a book depository, who shot the president. It didn't happen that way.
With Candace, I think really it's just she got kind of booted out of the inner circle and was too much for people, and she didn't like that. And so after he got shot, she wanted to connect herself somehow to him, and this has been her way to do it.
Maybe so. But, the evidence is being presented this weekend I hear the evidence is overwhelming against Tyler Robinson.
Well, yeah.
FBI pretty much has him nailed on this thing. Now, if you listen to those guys, they'll tell you that there's not enough evidence to convict him, that he, and I do have questions like the gun down his pants, jumping off the building. Nobody would ever try that. I'm a gun guy. I do guns all the time, and that's not something you would do.
Unless you're not a gun guy and you don't know.
But still, it's a little bit of an impossibility, physical impossibility. But I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. Iran has been firing missiles all night long, which now they're going into Tuesday night. So, but all day on Tuesday in the Strait of Hormuz, causing significant damage to tankers over there. They, of course, want the price of oil to go up. They want Donald Trump out of office, and they want him to, the Republicans out of office and all that kind of stuff. So they're trying to screw around with the markets. The other thing is this is who they are. You're not going to change who they are. Israel and America have to die in order for their religious leader, the Mahdi, to come back.
Right.
Until we die.
I think he knows he's going to have to finish the gig at some point.
Yeah.
It's just, when do you do that?
Right.
Because I don't think he ever expected them. I don't think any of them ever expected them to honor any of this crap.
Trump's going to do it on his time.
That's what I mean.
In his terms.
It really means, well, when do you think is the best time to do that?
And they're all shouting death to Trump. Of course, I believe that they were involved in Butler, Pennsylvania. I also believe the guy who was going to try to shoot him in Florida, that they were involved with that guy as well, and I'm not the only one who believes that. People inside of our intel forces have been saying that for a long time. If Tulsi was there, that's what we would find out.
Right.
Now that she's gone, I don't know.
It's unfortunate losing her as the DNI.
Oh my gosh.
So I really think he goes his own way, and he has his own timing on things. And he ultimately is the guy who makes the choice, and I can't help but think he keeps alluding to it. Well, I don't want. He was talking about it yesterday again during the rollout of the Trump accounts. I don't want to destroy 90 million people's lives, but I could take out their bridges in half an hour. So it really is not a matter of if. I think it's a matter of when.
He doesn't need to take out one bridge or one school or one anything. Take Carg Island. If you'll take Carg Island, then you control all of the oil for that country. You can shut the power off for that country, but you can also control their economy. Their economy is done if you take Carg Island, and that doesn't involve one bridge. That doesn't involve one innocent civilian. Just take it over.
And he would know that.
Move
so
Marines in there.
It's a matter of when and how he goes about it.
Do you like meatballs?
Do I like meatballs? I like meatballs and sketty.
Yeah?
I like meatballs and sketty.
This place that I go called Caparelli's, they do meatballs in what's called a boat, which is just
a boat.
Well, it's just it's just flat kind of plate thing that they put all the meatballs and the sauce on. You like meatballs, Christian? How about you?
Everybody like meatballs in this room?
They just put it there with the meat sauce around it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you just
Oh, that's
order.
nice.
Oh no, you can share it. They're big enough you could share it with another
You
person.
have to.
How big
Jimmy.
are they? Like
it's
baseballs?
Huge. Yeah, it's about the size of a baseball.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's
Some of them,
gigantic.
they put cheese in it,
And
right?
they're, yeah, and they're homemade. They're so good. I love those Italian meatballs at Caparelli.
It could be an appetizer or a dinner. It's up to you.
But once you eat it, you can't eat dinner. It is a dinner.
Wow.
So anyway, remember when I was talking about rediscovering my love for grilling?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so I'm saying, what should I try grilling? So Drew, and it's Drew Parsons. At first I thought it was Drew Pearson. Drew Parsons sent me an email, and he said, smoked meatballs.
Yeah.
Smoked meatballs.
You do the same thing with meatloaf. I mean, essentially a meatloaf is
Same thing, right?
Yeah, but smoking it is good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
How do you smoke a meatball?
Okay, let me tell you.
Smoker.
You ready for me to tell you?
Yes.
Because Drew sent me the
I would
the
like
thing.
to know how you smoke a meatball.
Get 3, because you'd like to smoke anything.
Well, I don't think it wouldn't fit in the bong.
Well, you do roll a ball. I guess you could roll a J.
That's right. Get 3 pounds of lean ground beef, get some shredded Parmesan Romano, and any other cheese that you want, and mix with the meat along with any Italian seasonings you prefer. I've got a mixture of Italian seasonings I love. Roll into balls about 1.5 inches big and put them on the smoke side of your pit for about 30 minutes. On the smoke side for about 30 minutes. They are excellent either by themselves or with spaghetti and meatballs. Either way.
If he says 30 minutes, then this needs to be over 225. You can't.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking. What?
Yeah, me too.
yeah, it's got to be around. That's got to be around a 3.
Do you know I don't?
Elaine-proof, Drew?
Huh?
Yeah, it is. Elaine, you could do this. I think you could.
I don't know. It depends on if SVU's on the television.
Oh my God.
Do you know I don't do that whole thermometer thing, Jimmy? I do it by feel.
No, that's why you have your hand. That's how all the chefs do it. There's
Well, you touch it, and that's how
well,
you make
if
sure.
you don't touch your fingers together right there at the base of your thumb, that's rare.
Got
it.
If you touch your first finger and your thumb, that's medium
I
rare.
don't want none of you touching my meatballs.
Why? What's wrong?
Your hands off
Because I
Elaine's
see your
meatballs.
hands and I know where they go.
Oh my
what are you
God.
talking
Look, right
about?
now, you just picked your
Yeah,
nose.
he did.
I didn't pick my nose. I rubbed it. I rubbed my nose. I don't
How
pick my
come this
nose.
meatball's kind of crunchy?
It tastes like beef tallow.
Beef tallow.
Now I got to rub my nose. Y'all done lit me on fire there on rubbing my nose. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
I have re-engaged with the grilling over the weekend. I did dogs, which came out.
Grilled dogs?
You would have loved them.
How very Chinese. I'm kidding. What?
That's
You would have
Korean.
loved it. I
They
did.
said their dog eating festival a couple of weeks ago.
Are you a Sam's guy? You go to Sam's?
No, we don't.
Okay. Sam's has these little prime rib hamburgers. They are this big around, about the size of a silver dollar.
Right.
Okay. They are outstanding.
Wow.
So you get yourself some of those. You know what I did?
King's Hawaiian buns.
Jimmy.
Those are good.
Check this out. I invented something new. Brisket, biscuit burgers. Biscuit
with
burgers.
biscuit? Okay.
I did the King's Hawaiian biscuits, which are my favorite,
Right.
and cooked up the burgers, put some cheese on top of them, got my jalapeno mustard, put those in the King's Hawaiian biscuits. I did biscuit burgers.
I made sloppy joes last night. I dumped a couple of cans into some ground
That sounds-
beef
that
and
sounds
let
great.
it simmer,
Sloppy
let
Joes,
it
man.
simmer
That
there
sounds
for
great, too.
about Took me all of 5 minutes.
See, look at you keep on picking and scratching.
I can't stop now. You
Now
mentioned
he's
it.
picking and
That's all. It's all
scratching 'cause
psych.
See how you are?
I'm not picking.
How do you want your
I'm
meatball?
rubbing my nose.
At least
you
it's-
guys on the camera can see it.
At least it's only his face that he's doing it. It could be worse.
Goodness, y'all. Now I'm scratching my back.
See?
Y'all got me everywhere.
There we go.
There we go. What
He's
you want on your meatball?
While in between exfoliating, I'm grilling meatballs.
That's right.
That does sound
Exactly.
good, though, grilled meatballs. But now I'm thinking about grilling meatloaf. That sounds interesting, too.
Smoked meatloaf and smoked meatballs work
Do you
great.
know, I have a hard time eating meatloaf these days because my mama made the best meatloaf in the
yeah?
world, and nobody can compare.
Right.
It's just
My
really,
wife does a pretty fair
Yeah.
meatloaf, man.
Yeah. So
What about salmon?
Nancy loves salmon. I'm
Me
not
too.
a big fan, but I have had it. Alaska, they pull it right. You watch them pull it out of the stream and put it on the fire. It's really really cool.
I like salmon when it's in sushi, but salmon by itself, my first wife kind of killed my love of salmon
Why?
because she ate it constantly and
Oh.
she obsessed on salmon and was just always salmon, and so I got sick of salmon.
Yeah. That happened.
Just like I got sick of The Who because she couldn't stop listening to The Who,
It's
so I got
interesting
sick of
that
The Who.
you brought up Sloppy Joe's. We do Manwich Mondays at our house.
Manwich Mondays.
That's correct.
Every Monday you do Manwich.
Yes, sir.
Every single Monday.
Manwich Mondays at our house.
Well, it's an easy meal. Like I said, all you got to do is open a couple of cans and dump the crap in there.
Trey sounds
Hard
like
to mess up.
he sounds like an NEISD school cafeteria.
I do?
Do you know?
No,
that-
Trey does.
Right.
I built a lot of our menuing goes around that because Wednesday was what? What's Wednesdays in the schools?
Italian Day?
Huh?
No. Tuesday was Taco Tuesday.
No.
Wednesday was
Mexican. It was always enchiladas on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then Thursday was hamburger day, right?
No.
Or Friday.
Friday was pizza for me.
No, Friday was fish. Friday was always fish day. In
And I
school.
went to Crestview Elementary, and I remember bothering my dad
You
every
went to- I
morning
did- that's my
for
school
$1
district.
to get the hamburger.
In Maryland, the closest we came to Mexican food in the schools was this little tiny burrito that actually looked like an egg roll. It was like a meat egg roll. It wasn't a real burrito, but we thought it was a burrito.
Mondays,
Because Mexican food sucks in Maryland.
Mondays was Sloppy Joe. Tuesdays usually was chicken fried steak, which wasn't bad actually.
You
for
guys
school.
ain't good out here.
Not bad. Wednesdays was always Mexican Wednesdays. Thursday they would mix it up. Sometimes it was Italian type stuff. They would mix up
You
Thursday.
never brown bagged it?
Oh, I did all the time. Yeah.
Yeah?
Sure. And then Fridays was always Fish Friday.
I grew up in a blue state, Trey, so we got these square pizza things that look like a pizza cracker that they just heated up in the microwave.
You bet.
and
Nothing wrong with that.
We got crappy food. Y'all, we didn't have no chicken fried nothing in where
We
I
had
came
chicken
from.
fried steak
Your
here.
lunch ladies were Norwegian.
And Miss
No, they were liberals. There's no.
in high school, Miss B, she was our lunch lady. She was so sweet, and every football player on chicken fried steak day got 2 chicken fried steaks.
Oh,
She'd
my God.
pile one on top of the other.
Right.
You only paid for one, but she'd sneak
Right.
another one on your plate. NewBathToday.com. If you've noticed that getting in and out of the shower is not safe and easy, or in and out of the bathtub is not safe and easy for you, many San Antonio homeowners now, the bathroom is one of the most important places to improve the safety and comfort of your home. New Bath Today is here to do that. Who are they? Well, they were Safe Showers, and I used to tell you about getting a safe shower put in. Same people building those same safe showers for you. Easy to get in and out of with a low step-up entry, a non-slip floor, all these beautiful fixtures inside. The walls don't have grout, so you don't have to worry about mold and mildew and all that other kind of stuff. Beautiful showers. But now, New Bath Today does the entire bathroom, from the flooring to the walls to, of course, your countertops and the sinks and lighting and mirrors and vanities. They do it all. And right now, qualified buyers can get $0 down, 0% interest, and no payments for 24 months. You can have your shower and your bathroom done now by New Bath Today and use their money for the next 2 years to enjoy it. And New Bath Today will also provide you with a free quote right now that's good for up to a year. So let's just say you're not ready to pull the trigger right now. Go ahead and have them come out and give you a quote, and you'll lock in today's pricing whenever it is that you want to do it. So it's our New Bath Today friends with a price and great, of course, this great financing, too, at New Bath Today. Get a free quote. Mention Trey Ware, newbathtoday.com. sun and clouds, mid-90s for the high. Right now, 78 KTSA.
movie stuff for the rest of the show, basically.
Good. I'll take it.
You know, Chris Nolan's done a lot of great stuff. I'm not inordinately a fan of his.
Mr. Big?
Chris Nolan, he did The Dark Knight, Inception, film director.
Oh, okay.
And, you look at some of his work. I didn't care for Inception, and The Dark Knight really was only good because of Heath Ledger, I mean, in my opinion. Heath Ledger made that movie. You take Heath Ledger out of the equation, it's kind of a mediocre flick, in my opinion.
Great. He was great.
He was, but he's premiered the trailer for The Odyssey. He's doing Homer now. And Elon called him a worm. Elon Musk called Chris Nolan a worm because the casting of The Odyssey is so bizarre. Achilles is played by that Emily Tranny chick, whatever her name is, his name. He's now a dude. She was a girl. Elliot Page is playing one of the great heroes, mythic heroes of not only Greek literature, but current era. And basically what Elon is saying, he said Chris Nolan desecrated Homer and groveled on his knees just to meet the woke rules required to win an Oscar. In other words, you know how this is set up now. You know, if you want to win an Oscar, you got to have so many black people on the crew. You got to have so many queer people in the movie. You got to have the right ratios of people, right, producing your movie. It's another reason why you're going to see AI take over everything, because they're not going to want to deal with human beings at all.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
That's what Nolte says.
It's going to be a pain in the ass. And, Helena Troy is portrayed by a Mexican Kenyan actor who was in a very good movie, actually, Black Panther many years ago, Lupita Nyong'o. And, and I agree with Elon that obviously what Chris Nolan is doing with all the weird casting is he's trying to meet the quotas while simultaneously appearing to be edgy and look at how I'm changing up the Odyssey and I'm making it modern, blah, blah, blah.
Whatever.
If you just, with the Odyssey, all I'll say, it's like a lot of things. If you just do the story that's there as is, coming out of the Battle of Troy, you'd have a great movie. Yeah. If Homer knew his stuff, okay? He knew how to write. But she says if she could sit next to Homer in the movie theater and watch the Odyssey, she would ask him, why aren't there more women in your plays? Why aren't there more women in the Iliad and the Odyssey? Why aren't, this is what's killing the arts in America.
Well, look,
in general, this kind of crap.
When you have AI, you don't have to, cater to these people's needs where they all have to have trailers, specific food at specific time. They all have to have their own chefs to cook for them in their trailer while they're out, on location.
Like you said, the Supergirl chick went out there and started running her mouth about politics, pretty much killed the movie before it went out.
Right.
Okay, they are helping to kill their own industry.
Of course they are.
They are helping to get people removed from the film process altogether because why? You're right. Why? And Nolte's right. Why would you want the hassle?
Right.
Of any of these people? We don't need it.
And the egos, and I'm sick, and I can't come out and shoot my scene.
Right.
All that's gone. And by the way, I was thinking Chris Noth, who played Mr. Big on Sex and the City.
And
when you said
Law
Nolan,
Order,
I was thinking.
Used to be on Law and Order. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Chris Noth. That's who I was thinking of. All right, quick break. More Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA.
News Talk
100.
100?
100.
Gonna be 100?
You're going to be 100.
Like HUNERD?
Yes.
100.
That's right. That's what he would say. 100. It's 100.
Sounds like a Baltimore accent.
Okay.
It's going to be 100, hun.
So let's. I got some quick hits for you. First of all, ring the bell. Yeah. Trump really got into it. He opened up the stock market yesterday with $1,000 for 6 million kids. And speaking of Elon, how awful Elon is. His SpaceX company, the president, put $320 million into the Trump accounts, which means all those kiddos are going to have a whole pile of cash. No, look, the first $1,000 comes from the American taxpayer and from SpaceX and Dell. Dell put how much?
Oh, yeah.
Dell put like $3 billion in it, something like that. There's a lot of money that Dell put in that deal. And so anyway, that's where all that money's coming from. And I highly encourage parents to do the opposite of what Democrats are saying. Don't put your kids in that system. Don't enroll them in that system. Benny Thompson yesterday, the guy who headed up the J6 committee. Don't do that. That'd be horrible for your children. No, it's the perfect thing for your kiddos. And then if you can do it, maybe you beg, borrow, steal, and sacrifice and whatever you got to do. You put the max $5,000 a year in that account for your kiddos. And by the time they're 18, 19, 20, some of them are going to be millionaires, if not multi-millionaires, depending on what happens with the stock market.
Well, it does. It's not surprising that a lot of Democrats would want you not to, would want to encourage people not to do it because you don't want people being autonomous.
Of course.
You want them hooked into the government system the whole way through, man.
That's right. And what also happened yesterday, Donald Trump oversaw the stock market. The Dow hit 53,000 on the Dow, first time in history. So for the rest of us that have investments in the stock market or a 401k in the stock market or an IRA that's tied to the stock market, you're probably doing okay these days. Donald Trump wants to keep the bell, though. Doesn't want to give it back.
It's a great honor. We'll have a little fun, and we want to be exactly on time. Are we allowed to be 15, 20, 30 seconds late? Look at that. Typically, no good, Jeff, right? And I'm going to ring that bell. And does that bell, does it stay in the White House? Because I'm not giving it back. We're going to put that in the middle of the new ballroom.
Oh, man, he's just trolling those people. Chicago, over the weekend. Oh, let me just make a comparison. Do you know how many Americans died in Iran this weekend? The Iranian war? Exactly 0.
Right.
Do you know how many died in gun-controlled Chicago? Well, at least 3.
Right.
Because you had one of them that was shot out of the 21 that was shot died, and then 2 others who were stabbed in gun-controlled Chicago. The black genocide, black-on-black crime, and this is why it doesn't get discussed, because black folk killing black folk in Chicago doesn't get talked about on Jake Tapper's show or anywhere else.
Well, of course not. Yeah.
But it's an actual genocide. Now, where's those Kiffier hippies from Columbia University from last summer that were talking about the genocide with Hamas in Gaza and Israel's committing genocide? There's an actual genocide of black people in our own country, and nobody's saying a stinking word about it.
Well, if you bring up black-on-black crime, 2 things happen. First off, you get a reaction because it's usually in blue cities, right, where that's not supposed to be happening, and also it makes you a racist if you're saying there's black-on-black crime. Because these people are actually obsessed with skin color. The very people who claim that they're not.
Yeah, but facts are facts.
Facts are facts. They're pesky things, facts. But
you're not having white people kill black people up there. That's not going on.
Well, again, obviously it's not something they want to address.
Of course not.
Because they want to get the guns away from the legal owners.
Right.
And they don't want to do anything about black-on-black crime. And again, if you bring it up, you're a racist.
And they have some of the most strict gun laws on planet Earth in Chicago,
right.
And yet they kill more people every year per capita in Chicago than anywhere else.
Where do you find a city where they have strict gun laws and there's not gun violence?
Right.
I mean, where does this work?
Right. So if this was any other, let's just say this was an invading force,
right,
that was killing this many Americans. You pick the city. I don't care. It doesn't have to be Chicago. That every day, so many Americans died by an invading force. Do you not think there would be this huge demand in America that we would stand up to this invading force and stop it right away? Of course there would be. We know if there was invaders in here shooting American citizens in any city to the tune of what they're being shot in Chicago,
Right.
you know that there would be. But it's Chicago, it's black on black. We'll just turn our heads and look the other way.
You're right, because to address it properly, you have to address their own policies, and they're not going to allow that to happen. So that's why they push you off as a racist, and you just hate young black men, that's all. There's no black-on-black crime happening.
And actually, by bringing it up, you're helping young black men survive
Well,
the genocide that's happening. If you call attention to it, and if Donald Trump were to take the National Guard and move in there like he did in Memphis, Tennessee, then that crap would stop, and more black guys would be alive.
Well, but again, they don't really care about the black guys. They care about their own power base. That's really what it's all about.
The New York Times asked Graham Plattner, is there something else you want to get ahead of? This was a couple of weeks ago.
But the GOP is going to dig up everything and more that they can.
Yeah, and probably lie at some point. I mean,
is there something new you want to get ahead of?
No, I mean, like I've lived my life. I've been there for the whole thing.
So, look, here's the deal. First of all, this is not a GOP op. The GOP is eating popcorn and watching. This has nothing to do with the Republicans.
Right.
This is an op that's coming from D.C. Democrats because the boy's not raising the money that they thought he was going to raise, so he's got to go.
Well, he's also underwater in the polls.
Correct.
He's not doing well in the polls against Susan Collins.
And so this is a deal where they have to get the Democrats have to get rid of him, and they don't care that their voters knew all of this stuff, including this rape allegation. This is not new.
Well, they don't care about any. Yeah, no,
this is not new. They're acting like this is a new rape allegation. The only thing that's new about it is Schumer and the boys in D.C. said, "Go get him."
Right. Well, you got to get rid of him. Yeah, he became a millstone around their neck. So just like Swalwell, they had to cut him loose, and they knew what a scumbag Swalwell was every bit as much as they know what a scumbag this guy is. It is a little interesting or disturbing to watch the ease with which this guy might be lying. Again, these are all allegations. But one thing I've come to learn about people is, you know what you're guilty of. Like I know the things I've done in my life that I'm not all that proud of. We all do. He does as well, and yet he can sit in front of a camera and say, "No, there's nothing else. No, these allegations are all false."
2 weeks ago, he was on with Joe Scarborough's
You
wife.
say there's nothing out there that could be concerning. And this may seem a little bit rich.
There's nothing out there. I just want to make this clear. There's nothing out there that's actually concerning. People will make everything seem very concerning.
Dude, a rape allegation, according to your own party, is very concerning. Remember, your party found a woman to make up a rape allegation. Her name was Christine Blasey Ford against Brett Kavanaugh. You made it up. Your party did. So it's a very serious situation. We have been taught that by your party how serious it is, and indeed it is.
Believe all the accusers.
Well, and I'm with that. I got 2 granddaughters, and so I'm with that. So absolutely, but to blame the GOP that they're making stuff up, dude, no, that's not blaming the GOP. It's your own party. They're done with you. It's over. All right, more Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA, sun and clouds, mid-90s today. Right now, 80 degrees at KTSA.
stronger, and more beautiful for years ahead. Call me Eddie, the window guy, with Precision 6588 or visit precisionwindowssa.com.
Yeah, baby. No way out there. That boy's singing and playing. Oh, mama. It do. It's a 9:51. We are Ware and Rima. John Fetterman now.
Your party was willing, your party leaders, not you, was willing to look past all these other allegations against him, from the other woman who said he grabbed her, to the tattoo, the Nazi tattoo, to all the other Reddit posts that had been dug up. So they were willing to overlook all of that because he was their star.
Yeah, I mean, I refuse to overlook that, but honestly, I would really call Bernie Sanders to apologize for pushing this kind of predator more than anyone he helped him elect, and now apologize to the victims, especially the woman that she claimed that he raped her.
That's John Fetterman showing, of course, his great leadership in all of this, and I mean that sincerely. Here is Bernie Sanders.
I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that Graham Plattner is the next senator from the state of Maine.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is Jack Riccardi, the professor. Sir, what do you think about these latest developments?
Well, I mean, it was a project. It was an experiment. And they wanted to see how far they could push it, and now they know.
What do you mean by project?
I think we all played on our shows the consultants, and I'll replay it today if you didn't replay it today, but you saw the Wall Street Journal interview with the consultants who recruited Plattner.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You remember that guy? He kind of up-talked?
Yeah.
And he said, we knew A, B, C, and D. We might not have known E and F. So this was always just electioneering. This was always just to see what you could get away with. And as you just said, or one of you just said, none of this is news to them.
No, it's not.
Like, they knew the stuff. And by the way, the biggest difference between the past accuser and this accuser of rape is that this accuser of rape is a Democrat.
Yeah.
So people should notice that they did not believe Lindsay Fifield, but they do believe Jenny Racicot, even though they're both telling the same story almost exactly about the same guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did play that when it came out. That was the interview with the two of them and they were still recruiting people. Remember, they said in that interview, we're going across the country and finding people like this.
So I get aggravated when people play along with well, they're as surprised as we are. No. Come on.
They knew it.
Right.
No, they're not.
They all knew it was happening.
They absolutely knew. But yeah, I certainly, and maybe not with their own base, but the rest of us are even more so aware of the fact that the Me Too movement was a complete contrivance, and it was really about targeting people. It had nothing to do with women. I mean, he's a prime example of this. They don't care about women. They haven't cared about women since the tranny thing kicked in. This guy slipped below the waterline with the numbers, and as Trey was pointing out, he wasn't raising as much money, and they had to take him out, and this is the way they're doing it.
So now what you have is the Susan Collins campaign has 4 months, no opposition research, no idea who they'll be running against. Democratic voters in Maine will again have just as national Democrat voters did in 2024, will have a candidate presented to them without a process, without a contest.
Yep.
Bingo.
I mean, come on, wake up.
Well, I've been saying all morning, the party that stands for democracy is about to Joe Biden this guy. Just like they did him, they're doing it to Plattner, and the people of Maine, knowing what they know and knew about this guy, voted him in anyway. Remember, Sonny Hostin was going to hold her nose.
It's a choice. I am sorry. Democrats have always fallen in love, and Republicans have always fallen in line. It's time for Democrats to stop that nonsense, put emotions on the side. Let's be strategic. Let's get some power. Yes. Let's take over the Senate. Let's take over the House.
Would you say that to the women? Would she say that to Jenny Racicot?
Yeah, right, exactly, right.
Oh, come on, Jenny.
Right.
Get on that bed and help the Democrats win the Senate.
Well,
that's what
right.
she's saying.
That's right.
That's what she's saying. And let's not sugarcoat it.
And yeah, exactly. Let's not sugarcoat it by calling sexual assault. This was rape that she said. She used the R word. She's the one who said rape. But apparently, Sonny Hostin, you don't need to hold your nose to vote for him. You better hold something else if that guy's around, apparently.
Yeah, well, it's easy for people like Sonny Hostin to say this because they'll never be the one backed into a corner by a Joe Biden
That's right.
or a, Graham Plattner or Eric Swalwell. So it's easy for them to talk this way. Yeah, fall in line, don't fall in love. It's neither one of those.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know how anybody with a daughter does any of this without throwing up all over themselves.
Well, I just said that about my granddaughters. Oh, my God. It's horrible.
Well, that's what's so surreal about it is they really don't care. Really, the ends justify the means. If you got to go with an absolute scumbag who is really, you look at Plattner, he's kind of like Swalwell. He's the very definition of the toxic masculinity that they themselves describe all the time. And yet they were ready to put him up if he was the guy who was going to get them there.
I just hope the oyster farm will be okay.
Oh God, yes.
Who's thinking of the oysters right now?
That's right.
Does anybody care? Am I the only one?
I think it'll be fine.
Well,
He'll survive without his contribution.
And if you just think about this some more, it's going to give him some more personal time in porta potties. He won't be out there on the campaign trail. He won't be in the Senate.
How bizarre! It's bizarre. We talked, Jack. We've talked a lot about AI today, and we talk about we kick it around. Obviously, we're all trying to figure out what our relationship with AI is going to be. Where are you on I don't know if I've heard you talk about, movies and music that is completely AI generated. Where are you on that subject?
Well, of course, Sean. I welcome our AI overlords. I want them to know that I am completely on their team. I will be employee of every month once AI takes over. I'm good with it. You won't have to worry about me. I don't know. It's like that. That's like that conversation we were having years ago about surveillance, where we were debating it, but actually it's already there, and the horse left the barn. And I probably whatever's going to happen is going to happen, no matter what my opinion.
Genie's out of the bottle. Yeah, it's not going back in.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can't do is the talking to it. I can't talk to AI. That disturbs me.
But you will.
Yeah,
I
probably will at some
little bit of a
point.
problem with that too.
You will.
But it's creepy.
I'm
to
still
me.
pressing 0. Like maybe there is someone back there.
Or using the flip phone. Flip. Oh, hey, look.
The comedian Nate Bargatze tells a funny joke about how when you're our age, when something doesn't work technologically, you just keep trying it over and
That's
over
right.
again.
Yeah, it'll work at some point.
Because eventually it will.
Right.
Jack's next. We'll see you in the morning.
Spread the love. Don't be